therefore the Inspector General of Police and the Police Authority to address the plight of those who are still waiting and who believe they deserve promotion. This will help them be motivated and more responsive in the interest of this country. Third, I would like to remind the Committee of Fiscal Infrastructure that the Real Estates Bill is now over 45 days in the committee. They should expeditiously handle it and present it to this House. I've also heard that our safe hands goalkeeper, Dennis Masinde Onyango, has since 12th April retired from international football. He has been a goalkeeper, captain of the national football team, and he still plays with this club in Mamelodi Sundowns in South Africa. He has made 79 appearances for the Uganda Cranes. He first made his debut in 2001 when he led our team against Cape Verde. Onyango will be remembered for his tremendous contribution to Ugandan football. He has led the Cranes twice to the two Total Africa Cup of Nations finals, Gabon 2017 and Egypt 2019. He has also been the African Player of the Year in 2016 when he guided Mamelodi Sundowns to their first total CF African Champions League. He's an exemplary professional footballer who has diligent to serve the nation and inspires many budding footballers and sports lovers in this country. At an appropriate time, I look forward to an opportunity to us to formally pay tribute to Dennis Onyango for his dedicated and distinct service to the nation. Thank you very much. Honourable members, there are just a few matters of national concern. The Honourable Etuka Joaquino, 2 minutes, please.
Madam Speaker, I rise on a matter of urgent national importance in relation to the World Bank-funded agricultural cluster development projects being implemented in the refugee hosting districts. Madam Speaker, the Minister of Agriculture gave IPFs to the 16 refugee hosting districts for rehabilitation of road chokes under the World Bank-funded agricultural cluster development projects. These districts include Bujiri, Namtumba, Gulu, Madiokolo, Maracha, and Yumbe, among others. The affected districts submitted a list of the roads to the ministry, but the ministry did not make any communication to these districts until they advertised in the New Vision of Monday, 21st December 2020, inviting the bids for the roads to be constructed in the districts. And Madam Speaker, in the list of the roads they advertised, most of the priority roads submitted by the affected districts were left out. And in this respect, where Madiokolo district was given an IPF of 4.5 billion shillings for the construction of roads. But out of the roads which were advertised by Ministry of Agriculture, only 24.9 kilometers of roads were advertised costing 4.5 billion shillings. Madam Speaker, I pray that the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries produce the loan performance report to this August House, as a number of loans have ever been abused in this country. Madam Speaker, I secondly pray that the ministry should liaise with the respective district local governments to revisit the list of the roads taken for construction. I beg to pray.
The honourable members, the Minister of Agriculture should within a fortnight present this House the list of loans as requested by Honourable Joaquino. Honourable Ayaka? Rosa Ayaka? 2 minutes, please.
Right Honorable, my matter of national importance is about the massive depletion of the forest cover in the West Nile region. According to a survey that was carried this year in March 2021, it was revealed that about 40% of the forest reserve, the central forest reserve, has been depleted. And according to information, twice as much as this amount of 40% has also been depleted in the community lands and in private lands. And Madam Speaker, the rate of depletion is very, very high. The persons who are involved in this are people who are cutting charcoal for commercial purposes, and there are also some other people who are cutting timber for commercial purposes. And because of the high rate, they are not mindful about species that
yes. Please go.
It's okay. Yeah, they are not mindful about species that are very, very valuable, especially the sheer nut tree, the Africana species, which are supposed to be maintained and kept because of the very vulnerable nature in which they are. And as a result, Madam Speaker, we now have the forest coverage which is getting depleted. And the consequences are that we are now having rainfall patterns which are being distorted, and we are also having the water table which is getting deeper and deeper. Some boreholes, especially in my districts, are not producing enough water for consumption at the domestic level. And therefore, because of that, Madam Speaker, it is very, very important that the ministry should set its feet on the ground and address this matter, because these people who are felling the trees seem to be very notorious, and they are not respecting any authority. They are doing it with a lot of impunity. I pray that the ministry should take action on this matter and ensure that those people who are involved in this illegal logging of trees, especially in the central forest reserves and in the community land, should be brought to book. My prayer is also that the ministry should urgently call for a stakeholders meeting so that the district in the area of West Nile sit for a consultative meeting and discuss this matter into details so that this issue is addressed appropriately. Thank you, Madam Honorable Speaker.
Okay. Honourable members, as you may recall, during the last session, we had a very, very lengthy debate on the protection of the shea tree and also the dangers to the azalea tree. But Honourable Minister of Environment, you can hear that even the forest reserves are gone, the district reserves are gone. What do you say to Honourable Ayaka's proposal?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, Honourable colleague. Thank you for raising a pertinent issue. The depletion of our environment cover is not only even limited to West Nile, but for you to sound it is a welcome move. Madam Speaker, this problem is cutting across the whole country. I've come and stood here to ask us to join hands and address this issue. One of the problems, Madam Speaker, that some of these tree covers are on private land. The private land owners, they don't even want to listen to the conservation. As a government, we are trying to see how the trees on private land can become beneficial to the owners. We can engage them in carbon trade so that they benefit and leave the trees without being cut. We are trying to engage the private tree owners to reserve the existing trees, Madam Speaker. But Madam Speaker, as a ministry, we have been arresting people. The specific one of West Nile, my colleague has raised. We even traveled with the European ambassadors, with other stakeholders, the CAOs, and the first Deputy Prime Minister was there with us. And we agreed that people who are degrading the environment, those who are burning charcoals, actually as we are leaving the meeting, we even found a lorry packed with charcoal, and we had to arrest him. We are continuously arresting people, even just as I speak. Madam Speaker, just to conclude, there's already a lorry we have just even arrested all over. I look forward having that stake. Just a moment, just hold on, Honorable. I just want to say that we need that stakeholder as a meeting, as a follow-up. We shall gladly have it, but as long as Ugandans don't wake up and protect our environment together. Madam Speaker, the destruction. Okay, Honorable Fungaro, it seems.
Yeah, thank you, Right Honorable Minister, for giving way. Honorable Speaker, the problem in West Nile on the depletion of the forests is not with the private landowners. It is with the issue of enforcement. Actually, it is with the issue of government. Nowadays, people who cut these big, old trees, which are endangered, even including the sea butternut trees, are conniving with security. All those who do, if you see these trucks, they are associated with some armed men, either police officers or army men. For example, in West Nile, we have the K Forestry Reserve. In West Nile, we also have Forestry Reserve in Obonge. We saw where police officers, including the DPC of my own district, conniving with the people who are trading in this, and they protect them. In Moyo, even, there are cases which are recorded in the district police office of Moyo. So the issue is not the owners. It is the government failure from the side of enforcement, because the police, where do you go? Where do you complain? The NFA people. So this is where the problem is, Madam Minister.
Thank you for the information, Honorable Fungaro. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, we see this evil happening in our society. We do have the courts of law. Nobody is above the law. We can coordinate and then have these people arrested. I've just received right now, Madam Speaker, an information of a vehicle arrested, UAV 819T, loaded. And we have sent, I was just speaking to my ED, we have just arrested it. We want even the people behind them. And it is true that sometimes even our officials are also part of them, and we have arrested them. So I would say, Madam Speaker, that the fight is on. If anybody has this information, please, colleagues, let's pass it on. As my colleague has just raised it, we can gladly go across again, but we need even the local participation of everybody. You shouldn't see a vehicle being escorted by either the army, the police, the RDC, and keep quiet. Technology has helped us. We can report this and see those who are above the law. There's nobody who is above the law. We are ready to deal with those who are arrested.
Okay. Honourable Minister, for me, I think that the people of Uganda would be happy to see you net a big fish, prosecute, and imprison, so that we know that.
Let's name them. Let's name the big fish, and let's name the big fish. Let's have that evidence, Madam Speaker, and we are going to prosecute them.
Speaker.
That's my plea to colleagues.
Okay. Information.
Thank you.
Honourable Zake.
Madam Speaker, on the issue of...
No, we have talked about this matter.
Just one information.
No, we have talked about this matter. Let the minister arrest some people, prosecute them. That's what we want.
Madam Speaker, the issue of the causes, the drive to cut trees.
No, but that one we know.
The demand for charcoal.
Yes, electricity is not enough. We know that. Let you arrest them and we start somewhere. That's what we want. We want to somebody big arrested.
There are also alternatives from government side, which they are not.
But we are not in policy meeting, please. You speak it when you meet in the policy stakeholders meeting. Let's go to Nabozake. 2 minutes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Madam Speaker, being my first time since January 14th to attend Parliament, I wish to use this opportunity to congratulate you and all honourable members who made it to the August House in the next Parliament. Madam Speaker and
welcome back,
members,
Honourable Zake. We're happy to see you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I've come to present a matter of national concern, and it's about the health situation of NUP supporters in prisons, especially in Chitaria, Chigo, and some other military detention centers, and some safe houses. Madam Speaker, after several hurdles, I've tried to access Chitaria prison, and several other NUP leaders have tried the same. We've always been denied access, but having tried over several times, yesterday I was granted access to them, and I managed to talk to them and see them. I would confess, Madam Speaker, that most of our comrades as National Unit Platform, they are really doing badly health-wise, as many of them have stomach complications, they have skin rash, they also have problems to do with something like they complained about typhoid due to the lack of water supply in that same prison, Chitalia. And also, I would wish to report, Madam Speaker, that the members of National Unity Platform in that prison still, many of them have diseases. For example, the personal assistant to the Honorable Chagulanyi Sentamu, Don Sheriff, he has complications to do with the liver, but he was only managed to be taken to one of the clinics around my constituency called, say, clinic, for just a scan, and thereafter they just gave him painkillers, that is Panadol. And that was so bad, and to me, I think these people really require medical attention. And also the second problem, Madam Speaker, I would tell this House is that most of our comrades in National Unit Platform who are in that prison, they were put into that prison without being tried in any courts of law. They were put under a military detention where they were refused to be bailed out and taken in that prison without they have never been tried anywhere up to this time. So, Madam Speaker, I pray that, first and foremost, the Honorable Minister of Internal Affairs to come to this House to explain as to why the National Unity Platform members, especially in that prison, they are being tortured to that extent. And also, to let this House know why are they not tried in the competent courts of law? Why are they being kept for all that long in that prison without even accessing medical attention, just like they are complaining they are being treated that way? And also, Madam Speaker, I also request government to come out to explain why civilians are being tried in military courts in absence of their lawyers and also relatives. And also to explain to us why we as National Unity Platform, the leaders, where do they refuse us from seeing those people? Because to me, it was really a hassle to see them. Madam Speaker, I pray that these people are released unconditionally because they have no crime. If they have any crime, let them be presented in competent courts of law. I thank you.
Now, honour members, last week while you were away, the Minister of Internal Affairs came here and presented a long list of people who are in prison, and the Honourable Shadow Minister for Defence requested for time to look at that list, to compare notes with what he has, so that we can identify who is who and who is where. So I think, I don't know how much time do you give Honourable Kivumbi to look at the list? Because the issues you're asking are the same things which are still pending. How much time do you give for Honourable Kivumbi? Okay, can we ask Honorable Chivumbi to expeditiously examine that list and give us a report by Thursday so that we shall now proceed on this matter of Honorable Zaki?
Madam Speaker, what Honorable Zake raised also need the attention of Human Rights Committee to visit some of these prisons to try and assess the situation of our people, Ugandans. Other than waiting for that one, I think a responsibility should be given to either Human Rights Committee or even then Human Rights Commission. I don't know whether they are doing their work. How can people suffer in prison like that? It is important for us to take it on while we wait for Honorable Chibumbi on Thursday. Thank you.
I know that the committee is already doing some work, but we can also ask them to add this and make a visit to Kitalia prison. Thank you. Honorable Kaberuka.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, I raise on the matter concerning Myoga. And Madam Speaker, I think it is all over the country, but particularly for Chinchizi West. We received the money in December last year, and Chinchizi West has 18 groups. And Madam Speaker, while this Myoga was a catching word in the campaigns, this money has become a nightmare at the groups. Madam Speaker, I have received the complaints from women entrepreneurs group, and Madam Speaker, each group is supposed to get 30 million, but Madam Speaker, allow me to express my concern where women entrepreneurs group only in a constituency has 2,500 members, supposed to share 30 million. Madam Speaker, they had said that there would not be collateral security to each member that would be lent this money, but Microfinance Support Center through the commercial officers have issued verbal conditions that they should also get collateral security. In addition, Madam Speaker, these groups have been told to subscribe and even give membership equivalent to 225,000 each member. Madam Speaker, when you divide 30 million into 2,700 members, if they were to be lent this money, each member will get less than 5,000 shillings. When you have already subscribed at least 25,000. I would like, Madam Speaker, to draw your attention to these suffering communities, and we get explanation from the government whether it was intended to improve the livelihood of the people through Myoga, using 30 million per group of the constituency, or it was another gimmick. Madam Speaker, when they change rules, they don't give formal instructions. We would like the Minister of Finance to issue a statement formally on the guidance on how these people can use this money. And also, Madam Speaker, I pray that the government at least brings a paper here. The minister should present a paper explaining nationally how this Myoga should operate. And my constituents should get a statement of comfort, Madam Speaker. How are these borders, the women, the producer buyers, how they can survive? Because, Madam Speaker, they have already subscribed, they are telling them to even put 30% of 30 million on their account without. Madam Speaker, I pray that with due respect, the minister, the government should be fair to these wananchi who have been at least lured into this venture. I beg to pray, Madam Speaker.
Members, of course, on the floor of this House, we have expressed disquiet about the bureaucracy involved in the Myoga, but nevertheless, let the Minister for Finance come and explain. Yes, Honorable, the Minister is here to tell us what to do about Kinkizi West.
Madam Speaker, I would like to thank the Honorable Kaberuka for this important information. And indeed, as you have said, we had a meeting here. We have made several statements to this House. You actually instructed last time for the Minister of State for Microfinance to come and hold a committee meeting and invited all members who wanted to listen and learn more and giving new ideas. And he came. We had a very good interaction with members of the committee. And Madam Speaker, at no time should we really say that the money which was appropriated by this House to support household income in our communities be called a nightmare. It's not a nightmare, only that I think there's some misinterpretation. This money is meant for groups that come together under a common enterprise. It's not for sharing. This money is not for sharing. This money is working capital for groups who want to improve their household incomes. And it's not supposed to have collateral. A group is enough collateral for that money. And therefore we are sending a message from this House, and after here, we'll be able to communicate to all commercial officers and microfinance support centers in our region that no collateral should be asked for this money. This money, if used very well, can actually improve the household income of our communities. And therefore, Madam Speaker, through here, I would like to want members of this House to support this program. Where there are weaknesses, let us address them, because we are the ones who appropriated this money. 260 billion was appropriated by this House. Let us...
Now,
Madam Speaker.
Honourable Minister, did you say that you have already held that meeting? Because we had discussed the stakeholders meeting here. Did it take place between the ministry and the committee members?
Yes, we had the meeting. The Minister came here.
Madam Speaker.
And he had a meeting in this very chamber where has been instructed.
Madam Speaker, I think the directive you gave was to the Minister to come here and address all the members of Parliament. But what the Minister now is telling us that the Minister decided to choose to call a committee. I don't know which committee, which they interacted with. But their direction was supposed to be members of Parliament.
No, I think
because the Myoga encompasses all the constituencies and all the districts, because it is regulations, guidelines are very unclear. What Honorable Kaberuka here stated is what is happening in all over the country.
But to correct that, Madam Speaker, we made a statement to this House. And after the discussion in the statement, where probably Honorable Ekuparaja was not, the Speaker directed that the Minister should come and meet with the committee, and whoever has views or want to ask anything should come and attend. And he actually said, let us have it in this plenary venue. And that's what we did. But Madam Speaker, we shall attend to the issues of Chinchiz West tomorrow and see whether we can improve the situation over there. But let us support this program. It's an important program, friends. The household income of our people should be key to our programs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, we have had many meetings on Myoga, please.
Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker.
No, honourable members.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, on the ground, some of us are being roasted properly that we appropriated this money from Parliament. So why is it that the money is not working? I don't remember very well putting this money to Myoga, and yet the timing was so bad during the time that we were all geared for election. The timing was very bad. The target was very bad. Just form group, 30 of you. 30 of you, form group. And people formed groups.
Okay, what do you propose? Let's look for, what do you propose now? We appropriated the money, it went. What do we do now?
Madam Speaker, we need to sit down as a parliament and review this EMIOGA. They talk of EMIOGA and yet another model is coming up. So it is very unfortunate. We need to really concretize some of these programs for our people to benefit better. We don't have to experiment in the whole country. If we are experimenting, it should be a pilot in a very small area. Then you roll out to the country when it is successful. But when it is not successful, then you disband it. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, this program EMIOGA is very good. But the problem is that the message they have sent out is different. Where they started for us in Luero, they were talking of we are giving money to a district. They went to other places, we are giving constituencies. The enterprises, they said no, they are 19. There was nothing like procuring coffee seedlings and whatnot. In the EMIOGA, when they told us in Luero, let the government come out with a clear message, what is in EMIOGA, so that it is the same all across the country. But when we are in this business, in Kabanore they say something else, in Luero it's something else, in Kamuli it's something else, it will confuse us. First of all, give us a same message so that we understand what this program is. I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable members, I want to just give the following ruling. After we finish the revenue bills, I want to instruct the Committee on Finance to convene a meeting, and all of you members should go and attend and give your issues so that we have a direction where to move. Otherwise, each week somebody is going to bring something. So I'm giving notice to the Committee on Finance. Soon after revenue bills, you convene a meeting over that issue so that we can listen to all the problems and then resolve it. Honourable Aogon, 2 minutes. Honourable, to get ready after.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I'm getting concerned that Nambole, which is our stadium, that is meant to be supporting us when we're hosting international games as well, it's like out of use. I've been seeing in the media that FIFA has put a ban on the activities in Nambole, most especially hosting international games. And I don't know whether that applies even to local games. Madam Speaker, this perturbs me because it comes at a time when our icon, Dennis Onyango, is retiring. Does it mean that the government is retiring from supporting Nambole at the time when Onyango is retiring? So I am getting concerned. Madam Speaker, you know how you have given support to sports. This House supported the She Cranes. You've supported the parliamentary team with all the necessary support of this House. At this time, we have a new minister for sports. And it seems somebody is trying to let him down. Minister of Health has been using this facility. I'm told it was ring fence for COVID issues. Are they the ones who are under Nambole? I'm here to demand for a statement from government. Before I complete, let me first get this information, Madam Speaker.
No, members, we are taking a lot of time. Minister of Sports is here.
I want to demand, Madam Speaker, that government, the minister comes with a statement on issues surrounding Nambole. What is going around Nambole? What is taking place in Nambole? I thought that Nambole is a facility that generates its money, internally even. So what is taking place in Nambole?
But that's my
so we need a statement.
The Minister of Sports, I've seen you. What's happening in Nambole?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker and honorable members. Madam Speaker, in response to the issue raised by my colleague on Mandela National Stadium, let me state the following. One is that in the month of February 2020, immediately after my appointment, I was sent on a mission to tour Mandela National Stadium for and on behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sports. We reported and recommended renovation and upgrade of Mandela National Stadium to an international accepted standard. Madam Speaker, in the month of March, April and May 2020, a team of inspectors were commissioned by the Confederation of African Football and the Federation of International Football Association to inspect all the gazetted sports stadia under the mandates of FIFA and CAF. In the case of Uganda, 2 stadia were inspected. Mandela National Stadium, Nambole, which is a public facility, and St. Mary's Stadium, Chitende, which is a private facility. In the report of the CAF inspectors, later on, after touring and inspecting all over the world and within Africa in those 3 months, Mandela National Stadium was not approved. Madam Speaker, Mandela National Stadium was not approved for hosting international games. For the case of Uganda, it is only St. Mary's Stadium Chitende that was approved by CAF and FIFA, subject to rectification of certain areas. That's the reason why during the Africa Cup of Nations, all our games were played at St. Mary's College, at St. Mary's Stadium Chitende. Madam Speaker, in the month of June, July 2020, Mandela National Stadium was handed over on the request of Ministry of Health of the Republic of Uganda as a COVID treatment center. To date, it has not been formally handed back. What has the Ministry of Education and Sports, on behalf of government of Uganda, done on this state of affairs, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, in line with the National Building Code 2019 and Uganda Public Service Standing Orders, Section N to A 18, our senior minister wrote to the Ministry of Works and Transport, because under the National Building Code, all public infrastructure is a mandate of the Ministry of Works and Transport, to constitute a team to conduct needs assessment for the upgrade and renovation of Mandela National Stadium. That technical team was constituted. They did the comprehensive needs assessment. They reported back with their BOQs on what Mandela National Stadium requires in the short term, in the medium term, and in the long term. Madam Speaker, as the ministry prepares to present a cabinet memo on this particular subject matter, we at the Ministry of Education and Sports have factored in this year's budget what Mandela National Stadium requires in the short term, but it falls under unfunded priority because the indicative planning figures could not accommodate what Mandela National Stadium requires. 1 week ago, we presented this before the Parliamentary Committee on Education and Sports and made a passionate appeal. If funding could be found, then we need to move and handle what Mandela National Stadium requires in the short term. Then the team of inspectors would come back and inspect. In the circumstances, Uganda has only St. Mary's Stadium, Chitende, and if the team of inspectors who are again doing inspection now for the World Cup qualifiers do not approve it, but it was approved earlier on, Madam Speaker, I want to put the country on notice that we will be left with no option as a country but to host all our World Cup qualifier games in one of the countries outside Uganda. I beg to submit.
Thank you, thank you. Extremely sad. Extremely sad. Please, Minister, help us not to get there. To be too much for us to go and borrow a stadium in Tanzania. Honorable Olotu. No, let's finish. Honorable Olotu, quickly.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I arise on a matter of national importance and actually very urgent regarding lack of a government-aided school in one of the sub-counties in my constituency, in Arapai sub-county. Arapai sub-county is one of the largest sub-counties, I would say, even in the country, with a population of well over 74,000. And over the years, Teso College Alloyed, for some of you who may be knowing, was part of, or is in Arapai sub-county. But as we all know, Teso College Alloyed is a national institution and cannot serve the best interests of the peasants in our setups, particularly in Arapai sub-county. Madam Speaker, the situation is that, we had a private community school, but because of the current situation we are in, caused by COVID, the private entities or private schools, most of them have closed. And Dakabela SS, Community SS, which was part of that establishment, has not managed to wither through the same system. Madam Speaker, I brought this issue a number of times with the authorities, particularly the Minister of Education. I've written quite a number of letters. I've exhausted all the avenues in trying to remind government that it's a policy that every sub-county must have a government-aided secondary school. I therefore ask the House to come in my support and compel government and compel the Minister of Education to support the people of Arapai, a very large sub-county, never divided since colonial time, but lacks a government-aided secondary school, Madam Speaker. As I said earlier on, Madam Speaker, even the one community community school, a secondary school, is coming to closure, and therefore the whole population will not have any secondary school in Arapai sub-country, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Can I ask the Minister of Education to take note of that urgent request? Arapai, 74,000 people, no secondary school. And then when can you come back to us with a solution? Let's go to item, Minister of Education. No, let's go to Minister of Education.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Lotu for raising this very important issue. Madam Speaker, as the Minister of Education comes, we have traditional sub-counties that are big. I will stand here and say that in my constituency, about 5 sub-counties don't have secondary schools. Osukuru, to mention, Morkatipe, to mention, Apokor, to mention, as among others. So let this be a very, very serious issue that the ministry should consider, that the policy that was agreed that every sub-county must have a secondary school should be taken seriously for the good of our people who are walking long distances to access education. No wonder many times some of my people are referred to as smugglers, because where there is no secondary school access nearby, people resort to anything that can keep them going. So I thank you, Madam Speaker, and the Minister should take note of that. Thank you very much.
Minister of Education.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I would like to thank the colleague who has raised that concern, but I want to make it clear, Madam Speaker, that as a ministry and a government, we respect that policy and we have done our best to ensure that at least we try to have schools in those sub-counties and parishes where they are not, the primary and the secondary, respectively. However, Madam Speaker, I must make this very clear to this House that you agree with me, colleagues, in the process of splitting districts, sub-counties, and parishes. Sometimes as we are counting, we are reducing on the numbers, then the numbers increase of the sub-counties and parishes because of the split of the various local governments. However, Madam Speaker, I want to assure this House, it is our plan as government to ensure we have primary schools in every parish, secondary schools in every sub-county as it is. Madam Speaker, some time back, we had shared with this House a list of the schools that we have and sub-counties that we have at least put in secondary schools and where we are constructing secondary schools. But in case, Madam Speaker, it is required by this House, we can still again resubmit that kind of list to the members so that they can appreciate what we are doing as government, the gaps we still have in terms of missing sub-counties and parishes. Madam Speaker, we shall be able to factor in the concern of the colleague as well. But I know all my colleagues here, I believe they have similar concerns. It is a concern of the entire country. So, Madam Speaker, we pledge to do our part as government. As money comes, we're always ready to make sure that we fulfill that policy. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Okay, sir. Then Minister for Gender to get ready.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. I'm just seeking clarification from the Honourable Minister. There are sub-counties without secondary schools, and the money has been sent to the districts for them to have the secondary schools constructed. I have an example from my sub-county where I come from. Now I'm at sub-county. Money was sent right from last year. To date, the ministry has not taken over this matter to construct the secondary school. So the clarification I'm seeking from you, Honourable Minister, what is the procedure for having money lay on the district account and take all this period without the school being constructed? Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker.
You're lucky. At least for you, the money has come. Honourable Minister, tell us about Nawampit.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Madam Speaker, in the case of such a district, I want to assure my colleague that we are going to try as a ministry and find out what is wrong. But all I know is that some districts, probably the problem could be the issue of procurement. But we are going to find out with that district, that particular district, what has gone wrong. If the money is there, what has happened? We are going to follow up, Madam Speaker. I want to thank the colleague for having raised this, but I also want to request other colleagues, in case we have, but of course we do monitor, but in case there is a concern, it is a shared responsibility, colleagues, that we all have an eye on the infrastructure that we have to have in our areas. If it is started on, please, in case you see something, let us know. We shall always be there to act.
Thank you very much. Item 3.
Item 3 on the order paper, statement by Minister on the commemoration of the International Labour Day, 1st May 2021.
Minister for Gender.
Right Honourable Speaker, honourable colleagues, as you are aware, on the 1st of May of every year, Uganda joins the rest of the world to commemorate the International Labour Day. On this day, we recognize the workers and employers for their contribution to socio-economic development of our country. The International Labour Day is a gazetted public holiday in Uganda. Every year, ceremonies are organized at the national and district local government levels. This year's national celebrations will be held scientifically at State House Entebbe due to COVID-19, and we shall follow the SOPs prescribed by the Ministry of Health. His Excellency the President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, will grace the celebrations as the chief guest. Right Honorable Speaker, all local governments and Kampala Capital State Authority have been informed and requested to mark the day in accordance with the COVID-19 SOPs as prescribed by the Ministry of Health. The theme for the International Labour Day 2021 is enhancing innovation for increased employment creation and labour productivity, a sustainable COVID-19 response. Colleagues, the measures taken in Uganda and around the world to control the spread of COVID-19 have posed serious challenges to the majority of the businesses in our country, regardless of the size. This is coupled with the real threat of significant decline in revenues. The negative impact of COVID-19 in the world has manifested in the following ways. 1, layoff and collective terminations. 2, non-payment of wages and reduction of wages. And also general erosion of livelihoods, especially for vulnerable groups such as women and persons with disabilities, unprotected workers, migrant workers, among others. In light of the impact of COVID-19 on businesses, adoption of innovative ways is critical to job creation and enhancing labor productivity. This year's theme has therefore been chosen to highlight national consciousness about the important role that innovation will play in increasing job creation and labor productivity during the post-COVID-19. A national organizing committee chaired by the permanent secretary from the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development was constituted for preparations for the function. A webinar discussion on enhancing innovation for employment creation and labor productivity for sustainable COVID-19 response will be organized. A high-level ministerial visit to selected factories within Greater Kampala to ascertain compliance to labor standards will also be conducted. The national celebration will be broadcasted live on most TV stations beginning at 8 a.m. on the 1st of May. Right Honorable Speaker, I'd like to invite you, honorable colleagues, to join the workers and employers in your respective districts, cities, and municipalities to commemorate the International Labour Day. And let me also take this opportunity to wish you all a happy Labour Day celebrations. I beg to submit.
For giving us all the information about the proposed celebration. Members, just really for information. I don't know whether there are any comments. Thank you. Yes, Honorable Ngeto.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you for this opportunity, and Minister, thank you for your statement. You ended by inviting us to join the workers in our districts to celebrate this day. But in your whole statement, I didn't hear a thing about your guidance to the districts. So how are they going to celebrate? Because for me, I had taken it that even in our districts, we are going to just sit and watch on TV what the president is going to be saying. And if that is the case, do I need to go to the district to participate? I thought you would give some kind of guidance to the districts and we would hear it from here. Then we can see which part we can take in the participations in the district. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Ono Kisa. Ono Basamo. Ida Kamsime. Right?
Yeah, thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker.
So, oh, mbwa. Okay.
And I want to thank the Minister for the statement. Right Honourable Speaker, the Minister has invited the workers in this country and those who provide the jobs. But Right Honourable Speaker is inviting the workers at a time when up to now the teachers, particularly those involved in early childhood development, the nursery schools and their proprietors, have no way out up to now. We don't know whether they are part of the workers in this country. We don't know whether the owners or proprietors are part of the people who are going to enjoy the celebrations of the Labor Day. Right Honourable Speaker, we needed really to get a correct picture so that everybody in this country feels that is part of the labor force and worth it to celebrate the International Labor Day. Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Ono Wasamo. Then Honourable Bombwa. Take a more. No Shabe.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister for the brief statement she has given us. Right Honourable Speaker, we are aware that the vulnerable groups of laborers really suffer, and the bill for a minimum wage was returned to this Parliament. The local content bill was also returned, and all these two bills regard to laborers. Madam Speaker, the other day, I saw His Excellency signing the agreement for the oil, and I think that's where the innovation, as the statement comes, that our people could benefit as laborers. I'm not yet really contented to understand how are we going to be benefiting as laborers, especially those ones of the low cadre. Madam Speaker, when COVID came, those people were the first to be fired, and they are really suffering. The women, the persons with disabilities, they have no jobs. How can we, through innovation, bring these people back to understand and appreciate that they are not prisoners in their own country? You go to the sugar factories and see how our people are suffering. I think we prefer the investor than the Ugandans. I want to pray as we celebrate that Parliament gives the laborers these two laws. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Boate Kamwa. Violet.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I wish to thank the Minister for the statement and for the invite as we are going to go virtual. But Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, how I wish as we celebrate International Labour Day, we should be thinking of Ugandans who worked during elections, mainly the LDUs, and have never been paid. We should be thinking of people who acted as scouts during the concluded Senior 4 exams and have not been paid. Would be even thinking of people who were chased from the gold mines of Mubende specifically in Kasanda, and they are also trying to earn a living, and they were never attended to. Right, Honorable Speaker, we should also be thinking about people who are working in modern slavery, called Cheyo, abroad, who are suffering, and they cannot even be attended to by our missions. Right, Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, we cannot close our eyes that we are going to celebrate International Labour Day when our people who fought for this country, including the general who is taking nap, okay, but people who fought for this country, like the veterans, people who lost their husbands during the NRM war, and they've never been paid. People were even, some veterans were retired, but they've never gotten any money. They only enjoy promises when it comes time for campaigns, and they say, please, you go and open bank accounts. How I wish, Madam Minister, you would come here and say, because of COVID, we are going to save a lot of money for celebrations, and we are intending to pay a category of people I've mentioned above. I thank you so much. Otherwise, there is no need of celebrating this day when our people are still suffering.
Thank you, Honorable Akurut. Then Honorable Leader of Opposition. Oh, Akurut and Locke. Okay. I've seen you come again.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I would like also to thank the Minister for the statement about the celebration of the International Labour Day. Right Honorable Speaker, I stand here to speak for the Ugandans that are distressed abroad. Because of externalization of labor, we've had so many Ugandans, like my colleague had said, doing cheyo, trying to make ends meet out there. They are taken from here with the different terms of reference. You're going out there to be a housemaid or to work in a hotel. But when you get out there, whatever you're given to do is different from what took you out there. And most of these Ugandans are in the Middle East. We have had quite a number of cases about them. I thought then, as a Minister of Gender, we need to really come up with quite a serious and stringent policy about externalization of labor. Our missions have had a lot of challenges to address these girls that are taken out there. Some of them find their way out there, but then they meet challenges and they want to get back home, and they cannot, because in most cases we are told their passports are withdrawn from them. And once you do not comply with whatever you've been told to do, then it becomes a very big problem. So some of them have found themselves in our missions out there trying to seek for assistance, and also the missions are constrained to help them. I just want to call upon the Ministry of Gender and all relevant stakeholders that I think it is high time, as we celebrate this International Labour Day, that we should indeed look into our labor force out there. I know some of them are doing good work. Some of them have actually done good work, and there are a lot of remittances back home here. But now when it comes to those that are taken and then they are not given what was expected or what they hoped to do, then we need to come up as a country, we need to come up with very stringent policies to help these young girls and boys, these Ugandans that go out there looking for jobs, so that we do not lose this out. Otherwise, for us to celebrate International Labour Day, when we are having so many Ugandans distressed because they are not getting the right jobs, or they are not given the jobs that they hoped to go and do out there, then we might miss a point. So I just wanted to call upon information, please.
Right Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to give information
and I thank my colleague for giving way. Right Honorable, as we celebrate the International Labour Day, this Parliament should know that there are children being employed in sugarcane plantations today. Recently, I managed to arrest a lorry that was carrying children as young as 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 years. So many of them loaded on a lorry that was heading to a sugarcane plantation. We impounded the vehicle, the lorry belonging to Kachira Sugar. I made sure I take these children to police. I arrested the man who was in charge of the deployment of the day. And before I reached home, police had released this man. And the children were left at the police station because the parents had not been informed that their children were at a police station in Kayunga, in some place called Galiraya. I therefore want to request that the minister, in addressing labor issues in this country, especially when we are celebrating, let her be reminded that children, now that they are not in school, Right Honorable, they are being exposed to this inhuman exploitation. A child of 8 years, they were carrying their slashers, they were carrying their pangas, they were carrying all the equipment that they had to use that day. It was on TV, but surprisingly, the police released this man, and the police never took this matter to court to prosecute this man, who was and who is actually continuing to employ babies. I call them babies because a child of 8 years is not old enough to work in a very gruesome and inhuman employment area like working in a sugarcane plantation. Women are being raped in those sugarcane plantations. You find a young boy of 12 years taking waraji because they are given 2,000, 1,000 a day, and after they use the same money to buy waraji. And I found them with their packs of waraji.
On a point of order.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the member on the floor is a member of cabinet. And yes, she's a member of parliament representing people, but she's a member of cabinet. So we would want to know, we would expect her to come and tell us how she has moved the cabinet to act on these issues that she has observed, rather than come here and lament with us. Right Honorable Speaker, is a member in order.
No,
is a member in order.
The honourable member is not in the cabinet. It's a backbencher. Please conclude.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for updating.
Order, please.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Even if I was still there, it does not take away my right to represent my people, because I'm a member of parliament, and it is at this platform that my people should be represented. So, Honorable, I have brought my issue up to the floor of parliament because the minister intends to celebrate a day, but she has forgotten that there are people employed, yet they are not supposed to be employed. They are just exploited, and I beg to submit, Right Honorable, my petition.
Okay, thank you. Although you submitted on top of, please close. Please close. Please conclude.
I would like to thank the member for the information that she's given. I think the point is Indeed, there is child labor, and I know we have laws on child labor. I think, Right Honorable, the biggest challenge we have as a country is the implementation of these laws. We are not biting enough to see that the culprits are brought to book, those that are employing children, like she said. Right Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, I was making an appeal to the ministry that the issue of externalization of labor has to be taken quite seriously in terms of also having stringent laws in terms of operationalization of this externalization of labor, so that our people do not suffer at the hands of foreigners. I beg to move. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Akurut, for the matters you have raised on the externalization of labor. But although Honorable Ida smuggled a contribution, nevertheless, the matter sure is extremely important, especially speaking to the issue of child labor, speaking to the issue of the absence of inspectors, speaking to the issue of the failure of our legal system to protect the young people. Minister, I think it's a matter you need to take up, because one, in this COVID now, many children are really idle. Others are getting pregnant. Now others are going to cut sugarcane when they are below age. And this is a very, very serious issue, Minister. There was Honorable Oshave, Androp, Kumakech. But let's have no new, we have other work, please. Your mobile.
Thank you very much.
Kumakech.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for the time you've accorded for us to make a few comments on this statement. I want to begin by thanking the Honourable Peace Mutuzo for coming up to alert the House and alert the people of Uganda about the forthcoming Labour Day, because many times people forget that that day actually exists. So this is a good reminder that those celebrations are there. Right Honourable Speaker, over time, this does become a ritual, and it's high time we make it so meaningful so that the people of Uganda expect government to come up with the policies on that day that can be announced, especially about the challenges that they go through. Right Honourable Speaker, in this country at the moment, I think the Honourable Peace Mutuzo highlighted the impact of COVID. It has created quite a lot of unemployment in the country. There's a very big chunk of Ugandans who are earning at night. They no longer earn at the moment. There is a very big group of people who are running their business, which are no longer moving on. So Honourable Peace Mutuzo on that day kindly come out more clearly on the policies you are adopting to deal with the unemployment created by COVID this time around. And we would like to hear on that day, we will be attentive to hear policies around the rights of workers in this country. People are here, they're being mistreated. Those ones who go outside in Arab countries are being mistreated, east, west, and north. But the worst thing, even those that are working here in the industries here, they are also being mistreated. They have no rights at all. So on that day, be kind, come out strongly and address the issues of the issues relating with the rights of the workers in this country. Kindly, on that day, we want to hear government coming out strongly on matters to do with the local content. These matters are very serious and they're very dear to us. Every day, government is very happy to announce so many new investors, but they never talk about the matters to do with local content. Why would foreigners come and have jobs we can do honestly here, when we have workers who can do certain jobs and those jobs are given to foreigners? We want to hear you come out clearly and instruct the institutions here to prioritize Ugandans in whatever they are doing. Let us only hire where we do not have the skills. Let us hire where we do not have the capacity. But where we have skills, where we have the engineer, where we have the doctors, let us use Ugandans. We would be happy to hear on that day when your government is making pronouncements. Right Honourable Speaker, we want to hear them speak about what government is doing to, for example, the oil sector. From what they did last time, we want to hear you come out, speak and say, we are creating this number of jobs and the Ugandans prepare these kinds of documents. The universities will hear. Everyone else will hear. But when we go there, you celebrate, and you, Right Honourable Speaker, that's where we miss the point. But strictly, what Honourable Kuru talked about here, Madam Speaker, is quite important. We want to hear the Minister of Labour coming out strongly to put up stringent measures about our people, because now majority of the jobs are being created by the government outside in Arab countries than here in this country. That can be attested with what goes on at the airport, because the majority of the people living in Uganda are going to Arab countries to work as maids. We want to hear our people protected, our children protected, because they go there not because they want to, but because that is the only available last opportunity for them to earn a living. Right, Honourable Speaker, we would be happy. And I will end, Madam Speaker, by talking about the looming problem in the country. Minister of Finance is stifling continuously the issue, the agriculture sector. For us, we are, Madam Speaker, we are farmers. And this government knows that 68% of Ugandans are in agriculture. That's where we earn a living. But Right Honourable Speaker, continuously, Minister of Finance is removing money from the coffee sector, which employs most of us in central Uganda here. And once they continue doing that, the sector is not going to grow. It is not going to employ people. More information.
You people, honour members.
Madam Speaker, my issue is, it is not just the coffee sector alone. I'm also hearing a whisper that the money for WEP is being taken away to something that I don't understand, that the parish model. Which model is this? Madam Speaker, that's the information.
Honourable Cooper Komakech. Komakech? Oh, drop has not spoken. Okay, leader for opposition. I don't see Okupa. Let Macho speak and then Kumakech will close.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. And I would like to thank the Minister for the statement made. Right Honourable Speaker, we will be very, very happy to see that on that day, the Honourable Minister plus those who will be participating in State House, maybe over TV, discussing how they are going to reduce on the very many weaknesses mentioned, including corruption. Corruption, in order for an ordinary person to get a job, this is for this gainful employment, you have to send some envelopes. I don't know if you people do not get information about this. Just 2 days ago, I was sitting with somebody, and moreover, our old reverend, and was telling me how they would even miss out after giving envelopes to get jobs. I would wish that, Honourable Minister, you focus more on why is it that this minimum wage bill is not working for us. Also focus on how we can have more or effective labor officers. Do they feed you with information from the districts? And sometimes some districts remain with that vacant position for long. And you know, district is vast. Probably one day we want to see a situation where you have more than just one labor officer. That's why sometimes they have to run where they should not be running. Those days I used to hear a lot about industrial courts. I don't know if these industrial courts are still functional. It is good for us to enjoy that day, 1st May, but we should take stock of the very many challenges, the very many problems which bedevil the country in as far as labor is concerned. It is very easy to be innovative and create jobs, but it is also very easy for these job creators to exploit the people, Ugandans, if we don't have regulations in place to help really, protect our people, the vulnerable people. I go completely with the people who observed about, taking our people as second instead of prioritizing our people first. Whenever they have the skills, they have the expertise, they have the knowledge. Why should we again prioritize other countries or above our people? Our people should first get the jobs before we think of other people coming to get the jobs. So let us take stock of those. When we celebrate, is it a day for HIV/AIDS, we usually go thinking, how is it now? How can it be improved? What is the problem? But we also need to know the problems there. And we would love to watch you talk about it, highlight on the issues and how you are going to handle those issues policy-wise. Thank you.
Okay, Honorable Komakech. Maybe let me remind our members that this House had enacted a law on the minimum wage, but it's the cabinet which rejected it. We, the people, had enacted it on behalf of the population. Let's have 3 minutes, please.
Madam Speaker, I join in to give a word or two as regards International Labor Day, that sometimes is called International Day of the Workers. Madam Speaker, I listened very carefully to the statement of the Minister. The word celebrate comes from a Latin word celebrare, to honor, to assemble honor, achievements, milestones. What is happening on the 1st of May? In the context of Uganda, I think this is a day for the first time we should mark, not celebrate. We should mark the day. The budget that is prepared for that day should be handed over to support the children that are in distress as a way of marking that day. I do not see any interest to be having wines and other drinks in any place. We should mark the day. Madam Speaker, the issue of workers in this country is painful. Uganda Police has just announced that they upgraded the police force in terms of promotion. But last night, as I drove home, I met a sergeant of Uganda Police Force who has served for 37 years as a sergeant. And he only is left with only 2 years to retire. But he has a degree. We have staff who are here, support staff, Uganda Police, who have master's degrees, who have degrees, but they are constables of the Uganda Police Force. And many have not been promoted. So this should be a day of reflection from the government of Uganda, looking at the situation of labor force. Go to Uganda, to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, there's a challenge that we are now so happy to be exporting house girls. And yet, the labor force that is here can still be exported in a very high level breed. Why is Ghana doing it in the international organizations? Why is Nigeria doing it? Why is Uganda not having a strategy through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to also take our labor force that is best qualified to serve on international jobs? Why are we zeroing down and concentrating on very low-paying jobs outside this country? These are things that we should reflect as a country. This is a day that should be taken very seriously for thinking, but not for celebration. We are a developing country, and therefore our strategy for development must be taken more seriously than just happiness. I beg to stop here, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Macho.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for her very good statement concerning this day. Madam Speaker, I was tickled by the woman member of Parliament for Kayunga, Honorable Nantaba, who is a banker bencher like me, for her good statement for fighting for the rights of children. Madam Speaker, many times you have talked about the plight of vulnerable children being used by people in the labor market. I have a very sad report to give that it has been almost 3 years. We have a racket of people who are smuggling Karamojong children to a market called Majengo in Nairobi, and they are paraded and sold in market as if they are selling goats in the name of child labor. Madam Speaker, it has not ended at that. The leftovers, because they pick healthy children, those who are not healthy, again further driven to Garissa and sold to Somali militia groups to be used as laborers in their training camps. This issue has come out many times, and the government should take interest in this matter. As that is continuing, Madam Speaker, we have a challenge of child labor in this country, originating from the limestone mines in the whole of Karamoja sub-region. When an operation is done now, we find almost 5,000 children crushing stones for sale. Madam Speaker, it has not ended to that. Almost 80% of homes in Eastern have children laborers in the name of cattle keepers who are from the Karamoja sub-region. I therefore request government to have an attention to stop this, because it is becoming chronic. We might end up losing a certain generation of people in that part of the country. But Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for her submission still concerning the Labor Day. Although I expected to hear a lot concerning the labor of the people in the private sector, COVID affected almost the whole country, but the other country, and Busia, where I come from in particular, whereby almost all the markets were closed up to now. Sophia market is closed up. It was having a population of more than 1,000 workers. As a response, when we moved this, government told us they're going to give a stimulus package. Madam Speaker, up to now, I'm still looking for the stimulus package that government talked about, although I hear in the corridors that it was given to rich people to build arcades in Kampala. We want the planners of this country, majorly the Ministry of Finance, to also plan for people in the private sector, because that is their work that they are doing. Me, I think I would support my colleague who was here and said, let us mark this day and get this money and give a donation to women who are vulnerable, who have not benefited from the stimulus package, so that they can begin or support their small-scale businesses to help them have a livelihood, and this will benefit their families further. Madam Speaker, I see there is sometimes delay by government. Mr. Prime Minister, I want to thank you for the statement you gave here during the ED day, but I will not go in that, because the Speaker has been a fighter for all the workers in this country. But we want government to put special attention to people who are not on salary employment basis, but they are working with their hands in private sector, carrying out small-scale businesses. They are almost everywhere, but we have neglected them, and we keep taxing them almost on a daily basis. Daily basis, moreover, they have many burdens and needs today.
Please conclude. Please conclude.
Lastly, Madam Speaker, I want to summarize by requesting government. The NSSF bill, I see it being killed in the midway. Me, I suggest that government, as it has a lover of its workers, let the government allow, let the president allow to assent to this bill so that Ugandans who are workers can enjoy their sweat when they are still living. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I wish you success in your coming elections. My vote is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Honourable members, I know these issues are interesting, but we have other work to complete. Now, Honourable Macho has raised an important issue concerning the stimulus package. Minister of Finance last weekend, I received a very serious complaint from one of the leading farmers in Uganda to the effect that the stimulus package was given to only Kampala-based companies, that no one from outside Kampala accessed that package. So I want now the Minister of Finance to lay on table here that list of those who benefited from that package so that we can know how the people of Uganda benefited. So we want that list of those who benefited from the stimulus package. I don't know whether the Minister has something to say to conclude the debate. Minister of Agenda.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, and thank you, colleagues, for the issues you have raised and the support you have given to workers by raising a number of concerns. I will begin with why do we celebrate? Even within the lockdown, even when our economy has been affected and businesses have been affected because of COVID, we still have a reason to smile because we are alive. One, we had frontline workers that did a tremendous job, like the doctors, like the police, which kept law and order, Electoral Commission, and women who were in the markets. Even within the COVID-19 lockdown, they worked day and night to ensure that they supply the materials we needed for survival and sustainability. So I think not all is lost, and there is real reason to commemorate this day, because on that day is when we take stock of our achievements, the opportunities, and the gaps, and we also raise a number of measures through which we can put an end to some of the gaps that are raised during the period. The issue that was raised by Honorable Nantaba and Honorable Macho, I want to thank you for raising this concern, but remind my colleague, Honorable Nantaba, that she should have reminded me with a phone call so that I support her. We gain massive support. Instead of just reporting to police and you keep quiet and you see them the following day being released and you keep quiet and wait for the Labor Day to raise this matter, I would have been happier if you had raised that matter then, so that would support you to ensure that the culprits are really handled in accordance to the law. Right, Honorable Speaker, issues of minimum wage have been raised, and Cabinet guided the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development to develop an analysis, case by case, of every institution, organization, companies that are employing our people, so that we critically examine the implications of minimum wage to the investors and employment. So the ministry has already generated the data, and we shall submit to Cabinet for further guidance. Right, Honorable Speaker, we want to encourage whistleblowers. Child labor and forced labor has become a big issue within this lockdown. Children are indeed back home, but factories are not sparing them. So we are moving to the factories and plantations, and we have a number of cases that we have submitted, and the commercial courts are really doing a good job. Last year alone, they were able to offset 6,000 cases, and this year, by around at the beginning of April, about 4,000 cases were also concluded. So we believe that we can work together that our children's safety is enhanced and also curb corruption. It takes two to be corrupt, the giver and the taker. And National Development Plan 3 has one of the strong pillars to do with mindset change. And this is why we're going to encourage and sensitize the masses against corruption, to be contented with what we have. And if we have to get anything more, we should really work for it. Right Honorable Speaker, the rest of the issues will be handled on the International Labor Day, but allow me to highlight something about some institutions that are still under the lockdown, like the hotels, performing artists, the bars, those that one of the colleagues mentioned that work in the night or in the evening hours, entertainment, the performing and creative industry. We are uploading an online platform for virtual operations to ensure that we continue observing the SOPs as we wait to a time when majority of the citizens in this country will be vaccinated, so that we don't pose a danger to health, to the people who have struggled to save by maintaining the lockdown for this long. I beg to submit, and thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the time you have and attention you have given this very important topic.
Thank you. 3.2.
Item 3.2. Statement by Minister on the salary enhancement for Makerere University Business School staff and taxation of lunch allowances for health workers.
Minister of Finance.
Madam Speaker, on the first part of this question, as I stated last time, we are still finalizing all the pending issues in the budget process, and I would request that we make a statement on Thursday about the salary enhancement, not only for Makerere University, but even others, on how we are finally handled. On the second part of this statement, which is taxation of lunch allowances for the staff, I would want to inform the House, Madam Speaker, that according to our Income Tax Act, all allowances are taxed, and it's by law. Unless this is changed, that's the position that we have. Allowances are taxed by law, unless they have been exempted by this House.
Okay. Now, Honourable Minister of Gender, sorry to come back to you. The Honourable Ngeto had asked you, how will we participate in the district celebrations? You have invited us to go back to our districts.
Right Honorable Speaker, each time we commemorate or celebrate international gazetted days, we have a national task force, but we also have district task forces that are headed by the chief administrative officers. So the chief administrative officers have been given guidelines, and the labor officers, to ensure that this commemoration is done under the guidelines of SOPs, but also in accordance with the standards for celebrating gazetted days. I thank you.
I think members will make their choice whether to go to remain it on TV.
3.3 statement by Minister on the lack of public road equipment in the districts of Rwampara, Kalenga, Obongi, Kwania, Kaperebyong, Karachi, Kitagwenda, Kasanda, Bugweri, Nabiratu, Kazo, Chikube and Madi Okoro, despite the appropriation of Uganda shillings 47 billion in the financial 2020-2021.
Minister of Finance.
Yeah, there is some statement here maybe.
Madam Speaker, on the appropriation of the said amount of money which was requested, where you requested the ministry to make a statement, we note that, Madam Speaker, Uganda shillings 53.1 billion was appropriated in the budget and programmed for release in the first quarter of 2019-2020 for the procurement of the road equipment. However, following the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, government faced significant resource constraints and was unable to fund the budget as planned, given the need to mobilize funds to fight the pandemic. This activity was unfortunately remained unfunded. Nevertheless, as a strategy, government through the Ministry of Works and Transport allocated 14.53 billion in the current year of 2020-2021, of which 10.498 billion has been released towards maintenance, repair of old equipment for distribution to the districts. In addition, new districts were encouraged to share road equipment with their mother districts in order to keep the roads motorable. So, Madam Speaker, this confirms the statement that we earlier made that the previous year of 2019-20, this Parliament appropriated 53 billion toward this activity. But because of lack of resources, funds, cash, and given the pandemic that set in, we were unable to fund this activity. And in this financial year, 2020-21, we did not budget for this money. We only gave money for the maintenance of this equipment. So I think these districts will be programmed for in a midterm as we settle in and as our situation improves. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Cassandra, let's hear from Honorable Shave.
Madam Chair, thank you. Madam Speaker, thank you very much. This time I'm not going to thank the Minister of Finance because, Right Honourable Speaker, these districts receive money, and our complaint has been, we've been coming here and we are requesting for what is due to us, because other districts received road units, and that is the policy that a district have road units. Right Honourable Speaker, the Minister has not provided a solution that we need. They are saying that they've released 10.49 billions, or they've changed to repairing of old equipment. Madam Chair, I don't think that's what we deserve, or that's what new district deserve. The Minister of Works wrote to them, indicating them that the procurement process had already taken place and concluded. All that is required is for them to deposit money. So he should come out clearly to say that Minister of Works kindly cancel the procurement, because we are not going to procure road equipment for these districts. Right Honourable Speaker, I would be happy to hear the Minister saying that in this budget he has provided the money that will be, because it is 53 billions. If they have already provided 10 billion, Right Honourable Speaker, there is a balance of 43 billions which can be provided, and we know that this matter can be settled by July. This is April, Madam Speaker. In July, this can be settled if the Ministry of Finance chooses to provide the 43 billion that is missing on this budget. But when you say that you're providing 14.5 for repairing and you're silent on the procurement, it implies that you do not want the new districts to get road equipment. Right, Honorable Speaker, the other thing that they communicated, the finance, in their wisdom, they think we can keep borrowing from other neighboring districts or the parent districts. Madam Speaker, it's almost equal to impossible because you advised the same at one point in time. We asked the engineers, we asked the districts to borrow, and they couldn't get the districts because even those districts, their equipments are busy working on their roads. Now, there is no way Minister of Finance can sit there and keep saying borrow when what they are talking about is practically impossible. My prayer, Right Honorable Speaker, we are in the budgeting process. Let the minister find the 43 billion, let the money already released go to procurement, not to repair, and the balance be provided in this budget. Or supplementary can come through. Right Honorable Speaker, we are ready to support it, and procurement for these road units are done. Thank you very much.
Any response to that proposal? Minister of Finance.
Madam Speaker, we need to be truthful here that this coming financial year, in terms of resource envelope, will not accommodate this expenditure because, Madam Speaker, as you are aware, we just passed a bill recently here for another arm of government that now requires an extra 500 billion. So the budget we submitted, the resource envelope we have, we think that, Honorable Patrick, we can accommodate this in the next financial year, 22-23, because, and in the meantime, those newly created districts can be using tractors of the existing districts, neighboring districts. Because, friends, this resource envelope is not elastic. It is limited. We have so much. We are just coming out of a pandemic. So there's how much we can do with the limited resource we have. I thank you.
Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the same minister has created something he calls a parish model. And in that parish model is trying to bring up something new. Can he confirm that there are no wasteful new expenditures in the next budget that cannot get we cannot get the 43 billions? Are we really proceeding well when the minister is here telling us that in the new budget he is going to be laid before here there are no new lines of expenditures? Because this one of ours was already there. You just stifled it. You just never wanted us to have this road equipment. Honorable members, kindly support us about this matter, because the Honorable Minister is telling lies about the impossibility of getting us 43 billions to get the road equipment for new districts. Information.
Thank you, Honorable Member and Honorable Speaker. I think the Minister must be truthful on this. When the new districts are not given their road equipment, it means that they are going to be hiring out to different companies to grade their roads. And the reason why government bought road equipment for other districts is to avoid the borrowing so that they reduce on the expenses. Now, if you don't provide a new district to match with the others, you are not fair to them, Honorable Minister. And at the end of the day, still you will use the same people who have built bad roads using their companies to make these people suffer. So if you have given them new districts, why don't you give them all the facilities they need? Honorable Speaker, we must begin resembling our neighboring countries like Tanzania and Kenya. When they create a new district, it is given all the facilities that will make it match with other districts, to the extent of even constructing the headquarters for them. For us, it's about politics. It's about politics and winning votes. So, Honorable Minister, kindly be fair. You are from Kabale, you know how poor the roads are, but you have road equipments, and they are not functioning well. What will happen to those districts that don't have a single road unit, yet they are newly created? I would support what you are saying, Honorable Member, other than going out to borrow and hiring out, which will be more expensive, and the government is trying to desist from that in some instances. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Connie. Ungeto.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I would like to give information that last week on Friday I had a meeting, a roads committee meeting, and I'm the chairperson. And the engineers were indicating that all the equipment of the city, which was formerly the municipality, cannot be used again because it has highly depreciated. And unfortunately, the city has gotten so stretched that a number of sub-counties, which it initially was 3 sub-counties, it is now 12. And all these other 12 get to the city to use the equipment, and now they cannot go further to do the work they used to do in the 3 sub-counties. Therefore, it's important that new set of equipment is procured so that the roads can look like those of a city and others of other new districts. I want to thank you.
Now, Honourable Minister, I really think this idea of borrowing from the mother district is really not feasible, because if I'm the mother district, I have no obligation to give the children. I have my own roads. How do I say now, okay, 6 months you are in Mbarara, 3 months you are in Rampara, then you go a bit to Kazo? I don't know. I don't get.
And Right Honourable Speaker, I want to build on what my colleague Honourable Connie has stated. Honestly, we are all members of district road committees. All MPs, we are members. We know our roads, and we know how much we need our equipment. So it's going to be unfortunate that we will be called upon to help another district when our own roads are in dire need of those equipments. So I want to ask our minister, please do these people a favor and make sure that they get their own equipment. Just a minute. Pakwat, we are neighboring Madiokolo, and at some point they had requested that our plant goes to support them. And in the process, actually, as a committee, we sat down and we recalled these equipments because our own roads required them urgently. So in this kind of circumstance, and like my colleague Connie has stated, it's just not possible because these equipments are required in their districts. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Minister for Local Government. Local Government and then the Chair of Infrastructure.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I appreciate that we may have a limited budget. We tried even to advise the districts to share this equipment with the municipalities, but it could not work out. And the Minister is aware that this money is given in quarters, and even sub-counties get some road fund. So it is not feasible that the districts can share the equipments. They risk losing the money back to the center, but also the work is enormous in every district. So the best option would be for us as government to look for money and give equipments to those new districts.
Chair of Infrastructure, Honourable Secretary.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, this matter has been on for quite some time. As the House may recall that we appropriated money in financial year 1920, which money the Ministry of Finance up to now has not released to the Ministry of Works and Transport, even when the procurement process was completed by the Ministry of Works and Transport. In a meeting recently with the Ministry, Right Honorable Speaker, we got the update that now it is not only 13 districts, it is now 14 new districts, including Ruchiga, which had not been created at the time of the initial funding request. So the actual money needed now is actually 56 billion for the 14 new districts. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Member, a more lasting solution to this problem is to agree that during consideration of the budget 2021-2022, we appropriate 56 billion for acquisition of the new road equipment, and the minister commits to this floor of parliament that this time round they will release that money. That would be a more lasting. But the issue of sharing, Madam Speaker, even now, some equipment like excavators are at regional level. Not every district has. So they have to share about 5 districts or even more. So we need to put in new and more districts enjoy that facility. Clarification.
Madam Chair, I represent a municipality. Would love the chair to come out to clear of the proposed 56 billion. Are you taking into account the affairs of municipalities? Because we are suffering terribly. You have heard from members. Otherwise, we don't pass anything. You must include the municipalities. Kumi municipalities suffering.
Madam Speaker, further clarification. We did submit. Busia municipality did submit. And all the municipalities did submit. Because when districts were given equipment, municipalities were using district equipment. And we had a promise from the chairperson himself, is here, he's my witness, that all the municipalities in Uganda are going to be given road equipment, including Busia municipality. I therefore want clarity from the minister, then the chairperson, they stand on that matter. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Onomwiru.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I am at a loss. My understanding of Parliament is that when we pass money through the budget, we pass an act of Parliament called the Appropriation Act. And the Minister of Finance is supposed to take heed of the Appropriation Act. But I've seen the Minister of Finance maybe having forgotten the objective of creating the road unit. Because we want to do force on account and reduce government expenditure. That may be for his purpose. So I'm only wondering, Honorable Speaker, whether it's procedurally right for us even to start debating whether the Minister of Finance should release the money or doesn't release the money. My understanding was, Madam Speaker, that once we vote for money and it's passed in this House, the Minister of Finance has no power to sit in the ministry and start vetoing a budget, saying, here I will give the money, here I will not release the money, without coming back to Parliament. I will seek your indulgence on this, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, maybe as the Minister comes, I really want to appreciate this concern that has been raised about road equipment. Madam Speaker, colleagues have talked about road equipment per district, which is good, including municipalities. And it's unfortunate the minister is not coming out to support this appropriation that was passed here. But Madam Speaker, I also want to bring to your attention, when we talk about road equipment and roads in the districts, you've known me to be crying on this floor all the time because of division of Tororo. Tororo, a district of 48 sub-counties. Madam Speaker, there we would now be talking, as I wait for the division of the district, we've been requesting for additional 2 units to that district. Madam Speaker, there for us, we forget when works on roads start, and they have done your roads or they have not done, you wait for 2.5 years before the single equipment goes around the district to come back to the sub-counties. Many sub-counties have had their money returned time and again because of the size of the district, the single equipment provide for breakages, as among others. So the infrastructure, as you're budgeting for additional units for the new districts, Tororo, that is waiting to be divided. Consider us for another 2 units. There we can see value as we wait. So, thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Honourable members, I do recall that when the issue of the size of districts came up, His Excellency the President said the bigger districts should actually get 2 units, 2 sets of units for the bigger districts. I don't know whether that is happening. Honourable Yandara.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Yes, every district needs roads equipment, but in the circumstance that now the minister says we have no money, we have to find ways of how to move. First of all, it is wrong for a district to return money to the Minister of Finance, because the Minister of Works and Transport authorizes you to hire private equipment to come and use that money in the meantime before you get your own money. Secondly, Madam Speaker, the leadership in the districts have cooperated more. There is no district which is given money for maintenance and operation to run those equipments for a full month. No single district. The money we release to them cannot run to maintain and the operation for a whole month. It is impossible. It is very little, so the equipment theoretically remains idle. And these districts are just hiring these equipment to private people. But if there was a good work relationship between the leaders, they could really work out and see that they can share some of these. In the absence of a lot of money, the Ministry of Finance could provide some little money maybe to buy for the most essential. Let them buy a grader for each of these districts, because most of the work is by graders. Then the excavators and whatnot, they can go in the pool, in the regional pools. I thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Minister, can you please close? We need to move on.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. On the issue of Honorable Mwiru, after Parliament has appropriated money, Honorable Mwiru, you know that we are running a cash budget. So once Parliament approves the money, their estimates, it will depend now on the cash collected. If the cash is not sufficient to fund all the money that has been appropriated by Parliament, then we fund up to the tune of the cash that we have. But colleagues, we need to remember, March 2020, April 2020, and May, when we were going through very difficult times, very unknowns during the pandemic, the revenue had reduced. We had to cut out some expenditures, and one of them was those that were that had gone into procurement, but we thought that would take more time. So it was one of them that really suffered. But I want to agree with the Honorable Engineer Biandara that maybe in the meantime, since we are still in the budgeting process, we can look at the middle ground. If we can buy a grader, and then the full unit can come in the subsequent year and help these new districts. I think that can work in the meantime. Members, if you support it, and we can do it since we have these 2 weeks to look at the budget, we make these difficult decisions together. We have made a proposal here at Parliament. Let's look at it together and make very difficult decisions together, because there are so many priorities that are not funded, and yet they are needed. So we have to make a choice. And this one will be one of the choices to make. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 3.4. 3.4.
Item 3.4, statement by the Minister on the reported demarcation and allocation of plots of land to various private individuals at the former Nakawa Naguru housing estate.
Read on what, please?
Madam Speaker.
Procedure.
Madam Speaker, I raise on a point of procedure.
Yes.
Last Thursday, Madam Speaker, you directed the Minister of Finance to come to this House today and update the House on the payment of farmers for tobacco, about the MOU that had to be signed with the companies of tobacco. Now that the Minister of Finance is here, Madam Speaker, would it be procedurally right that the Minister updates the House, and especially the farmers who are busy listening and waiting to get the answer from the Minister on when they should be paid? Wouldn't it be procedurally okay that he updates us, Madam Speaker?
Now, honour members, I wish sometimes you'd come to my office and tell me what you expect, which is not on the order paper, so that I can make time for it. Let us finish with lands. We shall come back to finance.
Madam Speaker,
let him sit here.
just procedural matter, Madam Speaker.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, on the matter of lands, Madam Speaker, this matter came some time back, and this matter was referred to the committee. The committee is in the process of concluding a report on the matters of the land of Naguru. I'm surprised that the minister is jumping the queue. On the 25th of February, 2021 at 9 a.m., the Honorable Minister did present the submission to the committee. On the same date, Uganda Land Commission presented a status report to the committee on Naguru and Nakawa land. So I don't know whether it's procedurally right for the minister now to jump in. The committee is yet to bring the report, to conclude and bring the report. There are documents that we ask the minister to submit to the committee for us to conclude the report. But now I'm seeing the minister on the order paper ready to submit. So procedurally, I don't know how the committee now is going to report on this matter. Because I thought the report would come, then the minister, if he has any issues which are not sorted out, would be able to respond to the committee. Madam Speaker, I'm not surprised that they are jumping the queue, because, Madam Speaker, from our preliminary investigations, there's a law that Madam Speaker, I will not be surprised if that is what's happening. The chairperson of the committee is here, and we had shared with him when we saw the order paper. Say, what's the fate now of our report? Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Now, honour members, the minister has responded to a request I made as a result of a public outcry, and no one at that time informed me that there's work which is ongoing. That's why I said, the minister, tell us what is happening. So where do we stand? And who is the chair of the committee? Where do we stand?
Madam, let the chairperson of the committee report, Madam Speaker. Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Indeed, this matter is before the Committee on Physical Infrastructure. We held a meeting which was attended by a huge delegation led by the Honourable Minister Betty Kamya, which was also attended by Uganda Land Commission. In that meeting, we needed more documents from the ministry, and I'm here to report that the minister submitted a huge yellow file with so many documents, with priority on almost all the pages, which we are studying, and we are about to conclude our findings. Madam Speaker, we have very interesting findings. How I wish our committee would be given time to finalize so that we handle this matter comprehensively. I beg to submit.
Now, honourable members, you know the public is not privy to what you have been doing in your committee. That's why they've been raising questions about what is happening. I think let the minister report to us on this one. It does not preclude you from reporting on the issue which you are handling. If there's something we need extra, we shall send this also to the committee. Please report, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I appreciate my colleagues who raised matter of procedure, and I was going to seek guidance from you, Right Honourable Speaker, whether I should go ahead and make a statement when 2 weeks ago we did make a similar statement to the Committee of Parliament, but
the committee has not yet reported. This House does not know what to discuss there.
Madam Speaker, the same clerk to Parliament who invited us to go and meet the committee is the same clerk who invited us to come here. So I was going to seek guidance from you, Madam Speaker, whether we should not wait for the report. And Madam Speaker, if it is your indulgence, I would request that we wait for the committee report, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Sechitoreko, when do you propose to bring this report? You know we have hardly 1 month.
Right Honourable Speaker, I would like to undertake that immediately after presentation of our budget, report on the ministerial policy statement, then we shall be able to present the report which is in its final stages of consideration, Madam Speaker.
Okay, I have instructed that you bring in your reports by Thursday, so they go to the budget committee. So next week.
Most obliged, Madam Speaker.
Okay.
Most obliged.
The matter deferred to abide by the outcome of the report of the Committee of Fiscal Infrastructure. Now, I'm coming. There was the issue of the payment of the tobacco farmers, and then after item 4, I would like to bring forward item 15 because it's also related to the budget. But let's have the short answer on the issue of the tobacco.
Madam Speaker, on the issue of tobacco farmers, we, as you recall, this House approved 11 billion Uganda shillings. I have confirmed that now we released it to Minister of Trade, which is the one supervising the farmers on this particular issue. It's a trade issue. And yesterday or this morning, we again wrote to them to say that they should move very quickly and pay the farmers as even if they have not finalized the issues of the companies, since we know the companies, they are credible companies, as we finalize the issues with the companies. So we expect, Madam Speaker, and I will keep in touch with the members of MPs from Bunyoro on this particular matter. We shall arrange a meeting. We shall arrange a meeting on Thursday with the members of Parliament from Bunyoro, and then we update them together with the Ministry of Trade. But we have released the money. It is with Ministry of Trade. It needs to verify the farmers and pay them as we work out with the companies.
Minister, may I propose that you also have a separate meeting with the members from West Nile, the same issue?
Oh, West Nile and West Nile.
Okay, Bunyoro, West Nile.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4.
Item 4 on the order paper, laying of papers, 4.1.
Minister of Works? Not here. 4.2.
4.2. Annual report of the Health Service Commission for the period of July 2019 to June 2020.
It's by public service.
Yes. This is 4-1, 4-2. Yeah.
Madam Speaker, I beg to go through all of them, then I lay them at a go. I beg to lay the list of registered engineers gazetted to practice engineering in Uganda in the year 2020-2021.
Honourable members, the list is now available for your perusal and advice.
4-2.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the annual report of the Health Service Commission for the period July 2019 to June 2020.
Members to send to the Committee on Health, perusal and report back.
4-3.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the National Planning Authority annual performance report for the financial 2019-2020.
And members sent to the Committee on Finance, Plan, and Economic Development for perusal and report back.
4-4.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements for Uganda National Health Research Organization for the year ended 30th June 2018.
And members sent to the Committee on Public Accounts, Commission Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises.
4-5.
I beg to lay, Madam Speaker, the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of National Health Research Organization for the year ended 30th June 2019.
Isn't it part of this? Okay, it is sent to Public Accounts Committee, Central Government.
Yes.
4-5B.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the Auditor General's report on Kapchogwa, Swami Kitale and Eldoret Bypass Road Project for the period ended 30th June 2019.
4-5C.
The Auditor General's report on the financial statements of the Uganda National Airlines Company Limited for the year ended June 2019. And finally, the Auditor General's report on Masaka Bukakata Road Project under UNRA for the period ended 30th June 2019.
Honourable members, all these are sent to the Committee on Public Accounts, Commission with Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises for perusal and report back. 6.
Yes. Item 4-6. Yes, yes.
Madam Speaker, it's a very long list. I read through all of them.
Yes, read them and then you can lay.
With your permission. I beg to lay the auditor report, the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements for Butabika National Mental Referral Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2020. Madam Speaker, the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of Chirudu National Referral Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2020. The report of the Auditor General on the statements of Ministry of Health for the year ended 30th June 2020. Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the report of the Auditor General of Uganda Blood Transfusion Services for the year ended June 2020. The next one is a report on the Ministry of Health, Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance cash grants to Uganda for the year ended June 2020. And we have the Auditor General's report of the financial statements of Uganda Heart Institute for the financial ended June 2020, and the General Auditor's report for the financial statements of Mulago Specialized Women Hospital for the financial ended 30th June. The Auditor General's report on the financial statements of China-Uganda Friendship Hospital Naguru for the financial ended June 30th June 2020, and the financial statements of Uganda Cancer Institute for the financial ended 30th June 2020. The Kawempe National Referral Hospital for the financial ended 30th June 2020. Uganda AIDS Commission for the financial year ended 30th June 2020. The Uganda Road Fund for the financial year ended 30th June 2020. The Lake Victoria, multinational Lake Victoria Maritime Communications and Transport Project on this ADF loan for the financial year ended 30th June 2020. We have, Madam Speaker, the statement of the Auditor General on Uganda National Airlines Company Limited for the year ended 30th June 2020. Next is the National Drug Authority for the financial year ended June 30th June 2020. Hello. Contact. Madam Speaker, the next is the Uganda National Audit Authority for the year ended 30th June 2020. The Albertine Regional Sustainable Development Project for the period ended 30th June 2020. The Masaka Bukakata Roads Project for the year ended 30th June 2020. The Health Service Commission for the year ended June 30th, 2020. And the Masindi Hoima, it is Chigumba Masindi Hoima Kabwe Road Project under the loan of ADF for the period ended 30th June 2020. And the Northeastern Road Corridor Asset Management Project for the year ended 30th June 2020. Kapchogwa Swam Kitale and Edroad Bypass Road Project for the year ended 30th June 2020. And finally, Madam Speaker, the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Uganda Development Bank Limited for the year ended 31st December 2020.
Thank you very much. The items from 6A, 6B, 6C, 6G, 6J will be sent to the Public Accounts Committee, Central Government. The rest will be sent to the Public Accounts Committee, Commission, Statutory Authorities, and State Enterprises for perusal and report back. Thank you.
Item number 15 on the order paper, motion for a resolution of Parliament to halt the merger of the Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program, WEP, with other wealth creation funds.
Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I am asked to move a motion for a resolution of Parliament to halt the merger of Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program, WEP, with other wealth creations, moved under Rule 47 of the Rules of Procedure. Whereas the Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program is in conformity with the national, regional, and international commitments and obligations of the gender equality and women's empowerment. Whereas Uganda Gender Policy 2007 prescribes interventions that improve the earning potential of women and respond to the diverse livelihood needs of women and men. Noting the Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program was initiated to address issues of limited access to affordable credit, limited technical knowledge and skills for business development, limited access to markets, as well as information regarding business opportunities. Whereas the program is envisaged to increase participation of women in business development, increase their income, livelihood security, and overall quality of life. Aware that the Women Fund program has always had limited funding and advocacy to increase budgetary allocation to the program has not been considered. Noting that the program has been performing well under the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, and generalizing it will push away women to withdraw from it due to excessive competition with other wealth creation funds. Further, noting that the program has created jobs for women reaching over 166,742 women and more than 587,755 dependents have benefited through multiplier effects at household, community, and macro levels. Appreciating that the program has funded a total of 13,822 projects with an average 10 projects per parish in all local governments across the country. Aware that the Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program is a women economic empowerment program that fits within the mandate of the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. Aware that in the Cabinet meeting of the 15th March 2021, Cabinet approved amalgamation of 8 wealth creation funds, including WEP, into a single pool to be implemented under the parish model, under the Ministry of Local Government, with effect from 1st July 2021. Now, therefore, be it resolved by this Parliament of Uganda duly convened and sitting today as follows: that the government of Uganda leaves the Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program the way it was, and monitoring should be done by the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. The justification is to promote women empowerment by improving their access to cheap credit for entrepreneurship. Then number 2 is that the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development transfer back the Uganda shillings 23 billion to the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development that was to be monitored by Ministry of Local Government, and the justification is that it is the ministry in charge of Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program. I beg to move.
Members, motion seconded? Seconded by several members. Justification?
Right Honorable Speaker, I will concentrate more on probably Gulu because I'm a woman member of parliament for Gulu, but knowing very well that in the 8th parliament, we started struggling for special fund for women, to empower women. We are still in a patriarchal society. And when we go to our Constitution, you will find that women still deserve affirmative action. And in the 9th Parliament, we continue to struggle to create a special fund for women. We were so grateful to government that government also heard our cry for our women who would always find it very difficult to compete normally with the men either in the bank or elsewhere. That a special fund was created for them. And in the 10th Parliament, implementation started. Since the implementation of this program or web program started, the impact on the ground is enormous. If you compare with other special funds, like Youth Livelihood Fund, you will find that the women have been very reliable. They have been able to repay their money in good time, at least very good percentage, and also the effect of the money on the population. First you start with the family, then you come to the area, and maybe the district, and nation at large. It's enormous. Why do we think so? The women are the pillars of families. And when women have resources into their hands, education becomes a little easier for the children even. So this money, we heard that it was going to be what? Going to be merged together with some other wealth creation fund. It will stop being special fund for women, because this is specifically for women. And some of us went out sensitizing community that let men not have their names on this form. If men get their names on the forms, then the forms get banned. It will not work. So this is special for women. Even if it is special for women, men benefit a lot, because men rely also on women at home. So now, to hear that this special fund for women, especially to empower women, especially, is so special, it is dear to our hearts, and is functioning well. And moreover, if anything, we should be pleading for increment of this fund, other than removing it from the very work that is doing. We have laws, protocols, international laws. You can count the Beijing platform. You can count also the Convention of Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. We want to empower women so that somehow they also rise up and come close to standing side by side with men. And then we also have our laws here in the Constitution. Why should this be done at this time? That is why I have come up with a motion that we hold this merger, which has already been done, and we give back to women their fund. If we were kind enough to women the way we have been kind to women, the people of Uganda, if that kindness should be exercised now, we should be thinking of adding even more 32 billion on what has already been what was allocated for WEP. So this is the request that we want to make to government of Uganda to be kind and give back the Women's Special Fund. I want to thank you very, very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for standing with women. You have always stand with very vulnerable people. Women is one class of vulnerable people in Uganda. So this affirmative action should not be moved away. It should stand. We should get the fund, the 32 billion back to Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, so that they give it back to WEP and WEP continues to exist. We have not failed. We have not failed in the community. The presence of this wealth creation, they bring seedlings which are already useless, but this women fund is so strong and it has a real impact on the ground. I want to thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I invite Honorable Lucia Kello, one of the seconders? She's coming on Zoom.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to second the motion. Allow me also to thank Madam Honorable Betty Aolu-Chan, the leader of opposition, but also who brought in this motion, I believe, in her capacity as the woman member of parliament for Gulu. I want to thank her for bringing this motion. Madam Speaker, I want to say that this has been a very disturbing news when I got it, and I'm very grateful that it has come in the form of a motion, and thank you for making this as a priority. Madam Speaker, notwithstanding the benefits of the parish model, I want to liken this situation that the government is trying to bring about to me being a mother. As a mother, I want to compare this situation to where you have little food you put in one bowl and expect the younger, the older, the strong, the children to compete for a fair share of the meal. Of course, this is not possible. You will be subjecting the young ones and the weak to starvation. I can see a similar situation or scenario under the parish model, where you expect the young, the weak to compete for this small meal. Madam Speaker, I also want to remind my colleagues, and even as we debate this, as a young child growing up, we used to have a situation where you would be served meals in one bowl. But our mothers were very wise. What they would do is to pick pieces of meat and allocate each child, because they knew that every child had different potential. Some are strong, some are weak. Madam Speaker, already with the OWEP, much as we are celebrating the success of OWEP, we are already seeing even few women benefiting, because the funds that have been allocated to OWEP is so small. So few women groups are benefiting. This is already even a scramble itself. What about if it now comes to the parish level, where they have to compete with men, where they have to compete with other funds like Myoga, already Myoga has this issue, where it has to compete with the Operation Wealth Creation, notwithstanding the challenges of Operation Wealth Creation. Madam Speaker, I implore the government of Uganda that we take it slow on WEP, we leave WEP the way it is. We can have and implement the parish model, but with other projects, leaving alone the WEP. Madam Speaker, with this, I want to state very clearly that on my own behalf, even on the behalf of the women of Amuru, even the women of Uganda, I want to stand strong and support this motion and plead with the government to hold on to this merger and protect this special fund for women. For long, this government has been saying, you know, we have a lot of support from women. This is the time we want to see, you know, they don't bite the hand that, you know, that feeds you. Women have really ensured that this government is strong. This is the time to pay women. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me this time to air my view and second this motion through Zoom once again. And I was unable to come to Parliament for reasons beyond me. Thank you so much, and I wish the rest of the House to strongly support this motion. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Can I invite Honorable Mbwate Kamwa, Honorable Samo, we go to Kibale, Chair Wopa, Otieno Kibalia, Pachuto, Witoma, and then we end with the Minister. Oh, there's something this side. Okay, okay. Opa, okay.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
National Dialogue.
Right Honorable Speaker, I also rise to support the motion by the Leader of Opposition to keep WEP as an independent program for women. Madam Speaker, allow me to inform you that even those who are proposing a parish model are not sure how the parish model is supposed to operate. Right Honorable Speaker, I thought a parish model should be providing a framework for implementing programs like the one of WEP. But according to people who are agitating for a parish model, as if they are seeing a parish model as a program. I think they could be confused. Even under WEP, when it is still under the Ministry of Gender, they can still take it down, scale it down as a parish model, but when it is still an independent and separate program. Right Honorable Speaker, this morning I've been receiving calls from both women in Kasambia County and both women in Igara West. Yeah, and the other one. And even youth. Yes, ever since they've heard of this, actually the majority do think that now they are going to benefit, even men do think that they are going to benefit from this parish model, that now the money is no longer set for women, but it's us who are going to benefit. Right Honorable Speaker, this one would be wrong. We cannot compete with women favorably. Let this program keep where it has been because it has been successful. Right Honorable Speaker, I propose that before disorganizing this well-performing program for women, I propose that we give it time to first study the so-called proposed parish model. And, Madam Speaker, I therefore support the motion by the Leader of Opposition that WEP should be removed from the schedule of the programs to be amalgamated under this model that has not been tested and well conceptualized. I thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Asamo. Asamo, followed by Honorable Noelin, then Chair of WOPA, Otieno, Kibalia, Agnes Amede, then I take the team on this side. Mitoma. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I am a member of the National Women's Council and Executive, and we are part of the drivers who wanted this fund to come on affirmative action for the women. At that time, it was very difficult for women to get money from banks, get money from microfinance institutions, and we all clapped. In the history of Uganda, the only program that has paid back the money the revolving fund is the Women Enterprise Fund, Madam Speaker. 70% of recovery. We have always had a Tandikwa money has been eaten, everything, but the Women Fund. Madam Speaker, women hold this fund dearly. This fund has got women of different categories. Those who have not gone to school, women with disabilities, women with HIV, within the same category. There is already specificity for them to get the money. What I don't understand, what do you mean by local government? Because women are already on the local groups. They come down from the villages and form their groups and come up and get money through their rightful ministry. What structure does the local government have? We have the Women Council. And in the form, if a woman chairperson of a sub-county does not sign that group, it does not come. Are we transferring the Women Council to the local government? I just need to be cleared. Madam Speaker, the whole of last week I was not here. We have consulted the women. I moved the whole of Eastern. We went to Kapchorwa, we went to Teso, we came to Busoga, we came to Bukedi. The women are saying, leave us with our money. Can the government explain, after giving affirmative action, you are removing? We don't want to say we shall not benefit from others. I will tell an example of when you give out Operation Wealth Creation. Many women, if you count the numbers, very few get to that money. But this women fund is for the poor of the poorest. And taking it to put into a parish model where the chiefs, already the chiefs last time were dealing with our women, they would say before you pay this. We have now taken the direct support so that the women, local women become in charge of the fund. Before they get stabilized, we are removing it. Can the government tell us where are we putting the structure of the Women Council? 51% of the percentage of Ugandans form of the women. How can you mistreat? I call this mistreating, taking us back to square one. Women are able to take children to school. Women are providing for families. In fact, they tell you that the men now are very happy because I asked some of them, you have come down from the sub-county. What has this fund helped you? They say, no, we have changed. Just see the way we are dressed, the way we are caring for our children, how we are caring for our families. This fund has reduced domestic violence, Madam Speaker. But now we are taking it back to a fund where Mr. X will have to accept Madam Asamo to go and get the money. And is the one monitoring you. Madam Speaker, this house will be the last to accept that the money moves to local government, at least for the women fund. Madam Speaker, I beg that this house does not approve that cabinet resolution until they have come to give us their framework of how the money is done. We always like rushing things without consulting. We always rush things without educating the people who are beneficiaries, and we just sit somewhere and think we are going to do that. We have not consulted the women, and I think as women of Uganda, we shall not accept it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
No, members, I think I also want to know in this country how many Gombola chiefs are women, how many parish chiefs are women, so that they will take special interest in the issue of the women. Honorable Chair of WOPA. Oh, Noelin. Okay.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Madam Speaker, I rise in support of the motion raised by our colleague, Honorable Awol. Madam Speaker, this fund for the women should remain independent. It cannot be merged with other funds. It will not be effective. Madam Speaker, I have witnessed that this money is reaching out to the lowest woman in the village, the poorest of the poor, like my colleagues have stated. Madam Speaker, merging the funds will make it much more competitive for the women, and it is likely that the women are going to lose out. This is an affirmative action for the women, and the women have been given an opportunity to have their own funds. It has done wonders in the women groups down there in the community. We cannot merge it. So, Madam Speaker, my prayer is that on top of refusing to merge it, we should also urge government that this fund is increased, because at the moment it is so small that many of the women are not able to access because of the size of the envelope that we have. So I want to support strongly the motion that we keep this fund independent and also increase it so that our women are able to access the benefit that goes with it. It has raised, Madam Speaker, a lot of innovation among the women. With the little funds they get from the groups, they are able to do so many enterprises, and it has improved on household income. Knowing that, Madam Speaker, women carries the bigger burden down there in the community of looking after the families, paying school fees, books, everything. It is important that we leave the women empowered to manage their fund. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Pamela.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I rise to support the motion moved by the Leader of Opposition not to allow the amalgamation of the WEB Fund with other wealth creation funds. Right Honourable Speaker, the Cabinet decision to merge the WEB Fund with other wealth creation funds is suspect. Members of Cabinet have just returned from campaigns, and I can bet that none of them have read about this parish model and conceptualized it. It's possible that the technocrats are taking advantage of the Cabinet to rush this decision on selfish motives. Right Honourable Speaker, we have a good number of women in Cabinet, but it is to my dismay that they have chosen to keep silent about the Women Fund. Madam Speaker, I would like to ask, whose interests are they serving? Have they just decided to abandon the women in their constituencies? Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, painfully I have to bring my colleague, my daughter here on order. Madam Speaker, Cabinet sits down and makes concrete decision. We debate it, we analyze it, and many of those decisions, Madam Speaker, have benefited this country. Two, as women members of Cabinet, we have been in touch with the women. We have brought in this House laws that have favored the women, and we still stand with the women. Is it in order, Right Honourable Speaker, for my colleague, my daughter, to assert that the women Cabinet ministers don't care about colleagues when we are the ones actually in Cabinet pushing for affirmative action that we have actually benefited this country? Is she in order?
Honourable members, the difficulty about that is it is clear that when the decision was taken, it seems the women members also agreed. That's the problem we have.
Right Honourable Speaker, I thank you very much. Madam Minister, the reason as why I got concerned is because you are sitting in Cabinet and we have a good number of women, but you did not pronounce yourselves on the WEB funds. This is a special fund created to support our women down there, but you've chosen not to pronounce yourselves. Maybe you have your own reasons as to why you've chosen to keep quiet. Right Honourable Speaker, I would like to say that let's not merge this WEB fund. We leave it to be monitored by the Mother Ministry, which is the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. I beg to submit. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Maybe you'll contribute because there's, who is that? Honourable Otieno? Otieno Kibalia? But you'll come last. I've got the team here, then this side. They're coming.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, it is very unthinkable that my government would even imagine removing the Women Fund. Right Honourable Speaker, if you look at the NRM support base, it is anchored in the women. And I would have expected that my party should have been the very first to protect the interests of the women. And that's the reason why I rise to support this motion, that we should not under any circumstance allow the funds for the women, which has worked very well, to be taken into a program or a project which nobody knows how it is going to work. As we speak now, Right Honorable Speaker, we don't know whether this is a strategy or a program. All these ministers cannot tell you. We have had meetings with the ministries of finance. They have failed to explain what this operation, this parish model is. They don't know. They don't know. Nobody can explain. Others, we met Operation Wealth Creation and the Ministry of Agriculture. They said this program has been taken to President's office. It's going to do oversight and so on and so on. Ministry of Finance said we are the ones in charge. Ministry of Local Government is not even aware, Right Honorable Speaker, how this money is going to be used. But that's not the major issue, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, this money I do not think was removed in good faith. If finance is interested in creating money for this, why is it that finance targets only programs that falls in other ministries, and those ones that are in the Ministry of Finance, they add more money? Why? Why? Right Honorable Speaker, I can cite two cases. Right now, there is a program where Ministry of Finance is going to oversee the implementation of NDP3. And they've added over 1 trillion, more than even the productive sector. More than 1 trillion is in that program. Why didn't they remove this 1 trillion? It's more than 1.5 trillion. Why didn't they remove just 400 billion from that program, which is anchored in Ministry of Finance, and use it for more average even the ones who will be still using that money? But they're going for money for the women. Right Honorable Speaker, this House should interest itself. There is a vote there in the Ministry of Finance, vote 130. Right Honorable Speaker, we should interest ourselves. This is where Ministry of Finance officials put money there, which is not touched. They keep removing money from other entities and they put it there. Why is that whenever money is cut from other ministries, other entities, that vote 130 is never touched? So that's why, Right Honorable Speaker, I have a belief something is not adding up in this. And I think this House should stand its ground and say, no, our women deserve better. This money should stay. Actually, I support there's a colleague who said this money should be increased, and I think that's what we should really be discussing. We should stop talking about what they should do. How much are we adding on this money? That's what I think this House should focus itself, and by the time we pass the final budget, personally, I will pass a motion here. We want to see money for the women increased from what it is now and not removed. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to say that before government tells us of parish model, two things must be cleared. Who is in charge? Which entity is in charge? Is it President's office? Is it Ministry of Finance? Is it local government? State House? No. President's office has said they are the ones in charge. You're on the record. They appeared before the Agriculture Committee. They said they are the ones in charge, not local government. Nobody should deceive anybody here. Minister of Finance is telling us this is a program, but it is more of a strategy. If it is a strategy, why don't you then say, whoever has interventions, go and do it at the parish level? What's wrong with that? Once you remove money from entities, if Minister of Water, you say, let all your interventions be at parish level. If it is Minister of Education, parish level. Minister of whatever, parish level. Why must you remove from entities so that you are the ones now to implement? You mean they cannot do it at parish level? Is it a strategy? Is it a program? And if it is a program, why don't you come up with this?
Honorable Pachuto, Kibalia Pachuto, Ahmed Jova. Okay, Nyendoha, then I take the Wopa people on this side. Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I join the colleagues in thanking the Leader of Opposition in bringing up this motion. Right Honourable Speaker, if anything, this country would be very, very cautious about issues concerning women. Right Honourable Speaker, if anything is to be done, we must increase money in any program that affects women. Right Honourable Speaker, I wonder where the Minister of Finance comes from in his district. In my district where I come from, more particularly my constituency of Gabula South, men have abandoned their responsibilities. They have left them into the hands of women. Right Honourable Speaker, women are suffering. Women are really suffering. I'm soon coming up with a motion here, Right Honourable Speaker, to ask government to provide money for widows. If they are crying about the women fund, I'm coming to ask for money for widows. Because, Right Honourable Speaker, women fund must not only be doubled, but tripled. We provided money for youth livelihood, but at the end of the day, these youth only feed from their mothers. They derive livelihood from their mothers. Women are running families. They are educating children. Here we are government talking about the parish model. Right Honourable Speaker, I have the parish chief who doesn't know me. In my sub-count, I cannot even count for you one parish chief. They are there. Chairperson LC3, LC2. What do they do? Right Honourable Speaker, the Minister of Finance and the government, where did they will test on some other species before it comes to human beings? Where have they tested the parish model first so that we can copy from there and say it will work? Or we just have to begin very fast and move and reach there? Right Honourable Speaker, the parish model, women in my area have the viscera, which has not worked very well because of lack of funds and support. But you only find women participating, men are few there. I would expect the government to add in more money, empower these women. They normally say, educate a woman. Just 1 second, Madam Speaker. Educate a woman, educate a nation. Empower a woman. Economically, you will have empowered the family and everybody, and you will be empowering the children. So it's our role, Right Honourable Speaker, as government to come here and say, how do we improve the women fund? Instead of saying we are diverting this money into wealth creation. What is wealth creation, Madam Speaker? The other day, our president promised Santa leopards to the girls. Instead of government telling us that now we have added money for girls to buy Santa leopards, as we add money for women to do this and the other, they are telling us to change money from gender to something that is not clear. Right Honourable Speaker, if I will be the last person here to fight that one, I will do that, but I've put on notice. I'm coming with a motion to request for money for widows so that we also give them money because we need to empower them and help them look after those orphans that they have. Thank you, Right Honourable.
Fachuto, Jofa Ahmed, then Nyendoha, then I come to Uwapa on this side.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. I also want to thank the mover, the Leader of Opposition. Right Honourable Speaker, I stand here to support that the WEP fund should not be merged with other wealth creation funds. Madam Speaker, firstly, the WEP fund has performed. We are informed that at least recovery is up to 87%. This is not comparable with other funds like the Youth Livelihood Fund and there would be a Myoga fund. Right Honourable Speaker, not only that, this fund is easily accessible to women because the requirements are quite flexible compared to if they merge them together, they will not be able to access this fund so easily. It has also helped the women. They are able to borrow cheaply compared to the high cost of borrowing from other financial institutions, and because also they lack other requirements like collateral. Right Honorable Speaker, like other members have stated, we would rather at this point be talking of increasing funding to UWEP. Just last week, I watched on television a group of women in Kampala advocating for a standalone bank for women. So if at that level women are finding, I believe that is because they are finding it hard to access funds from other financial institutions at a fair condition. What about the women down there in the rural areas? I would strongly support that, whereas the parish model may not be bad if properly researched and looked into, but even then, let the women fund remain for the women fund. When you go to the countryside, unlike NUSAF, Youth Livelihood Fund, you'll simply find signposts. But with UWEP, you'll just find living human beings testifying to you, the women, how this fund has helped them to take care of their family, to pay school fees, do ABCD. I therefore support that this fund should remain a standalone fund for women. Thank you.
Thank you. I invite Honorable Jova, but also to remind the Minister of Finance and the government about Article 14 of the Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, in particular the duty to take care of the rural women. It's the convention you signed, Honorable Jova.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to support the motion. I'd like to thank the Leader of Opposition for bringing up this motion, but I would like also to point out that the motion deserves a place in the Guinness Book of Records, seeing the praises that the Leader of Opposition has heaped on government for this program, for the success of this program. She says, we are grateful to government for hearing our cry and putting the program in place. She says, since the implementation of UWEP, there has been enormous improvement. And of course, she has noted that it is in line with the regional and international obligations signed by the government, and it has created jobs, among other things. So we want to recognize that the House, indeed, across the divide, does observe the tremendous improvement that has been made by UWEP. We do thank the government for putting this program in place, and as colleagues have said, it helped us mobilize savings by the women, that the women now knew they could work hard and first of all participate in food security for the home, then be able to participate in income generating programs together with other women. So the UWEP has increased household income. We are here crying about so many girls that have gotten pregnant and have gotten out of school during COVID. The solution would be to give the women more support, more empowerment, so that they can fend better for the girl child. Be able to buy sanitary towels for them, for example. Be able to provide basic necessities so that the girls are not tempted to go out with men who make them pregnant. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I also support colleagues who say that this program should remain a separate program. It has helped us realize development right from the home, because the women are responsible for providing food in the home, the majority of homes, and indeed it has helped them work in partnership with their husband. Just a minute, Right Honorable Speaker. To work in partnership with their husband, not in competition but in partnership, to ensure that the welfare of the home improves and the children go to school. So, Right Honourable Speaker, we propose that I want to thank the government for the parish model. This means that actually a lot of money are going to be into this program. But we would like to propose that the UWEP remains, and then the parish model, the women can get actually 20% additional to the UWEP, so that they get 20% to increase this, because they have been faithful and the funding has realized potential and improvement. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Ahmed.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity, and I thank ROP for the motion. WEP is a very good project because it is reaching the ordinary woman. Today, women have taken on a lot of community care work that was inherently men's role. Unfortunately, the Minister for Gender is not here. I would have tasked her to do a study in this. Why is it that many men in the communities have neglected their cardinal duties and left it to women? This is something over and over. Women pull me aside and tell me whenever I have been in the communities. WEP in Butevo district registered dismal returns because of the minimal amounts of money that were given. I would encourage government to leave this fund as an affirmative action, because women suffer a lot of issues. Women have no means to access credit formally for the obvious reasons that they do not have collateral. Most of the collateral in the communities, in the villages, is land, and most women don't own land. The Myoga program was looked at with suspicion because people have registered groups over and over and have not been able to get money, including the Youth Livelihood Fund. It took a lot of sensitization for people to buy into the Myoga program. And unfortunately, people in Butevo had not got this money, and something else is coming up. My question to government, where is this pilot of the parish model? Many times we have government rushing to implement programs without proper data, without proper study. I would implore our government to assign rightful political supervision of this money. In my view, much of the corruption and poor service delivery in local governments is the lack of political supervision. The civil servants are not working closely with the politicians. There is a lot of secrecy surrounding government programs. Can we be more transparent? Can we create responsibilities and obligations around these funds? Otherwise, this fund will go to waste, just like that, Madam Speaker. Ideally, I support the government merger of so many affirmative programs. There were programs running in the Ministry of Local Government, there were programs running in the Ministry of Gender, but nothing is coming out. I give an example of NUSAF. A lot of funds have gone in NUSAF countrywide. But what is there to show off? Can this fund be studied further so that when it is being implemented, there's a chain of deliverables? If you're going to give a parish to grow maize, where are they going to sell it? If they are going to have cattle for milk, where is the milk going? Let's have the whole chain developed. Thank you.
Now, Nyandoha. Nyandoha Robina, Gomba, then we go to National Dialogue Oseku, then I take the WOPA B. Yeah. 3 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for granting me the opportunity to express my views on this issue about OWEP. Honorable Speaker, we are aware that OWEP is the brainchild of Ministry of Gender. And gender has been the line ministry under which OWEP has been operating. It is in this current government that the economic status of women has been elevated, and more especially through OWEP program. It is also very evident that through this OWEP program that the women's spirit of entrepreneurship has been raised. We therefore would want that this spirit continues being elevated, since this program has really put us at a higher level. The Ministry of Gender has been carrying out M&E of OWEP countrywide. Madam Speaker, I have been sitting on the Committee of Gender for quite some time. We have moved almost the entire country trying to look through all these programs, but we also found out that it is only OWEP as a component that has been very successful. It is therefore very important that government, cabinet and parliament ensures that the project of OWEP remains under the docket of Ministry of Gender. The only thing we need to do as parliament and cabinet is to ensure that we put in place strategies or policies that can better improve the performance of OWEP at our local levels. And this can be done by ensuring that the revolving of OWEP funds goes up to the local woman in the villages. We have a number of success stories under this program. For us who have been in this committee, who have realized this, who have tasted of this, why can't we proceed with these success stories to make sure that instead, as government, we make sure that we increase more funds and see how best we can be able to improve on this WEP program. Madam Speaker, it is through WEP that our women today have been encouraged to save at lower level. They have been able to get involved in financial literacy. The women today in Uganda, more of them have been empowered economically through these financial literacy trainings. It is therefore my prayer and plea that the government of Uganda, through cabinets, we make sure that this merger does not exist and WEP remains under the mother ministry of Ministry of Gender. I beg to submit.
Thank you, Honorable Rakojo. Then Mukitale, then Oseku. We are now on this side. Wapa B, I've seen you. Even Wapa C.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank government for the WEP program because I have seen in Gomba West and in other districts and other constituencies, I have seen increased financial literacy for the women, increased entrepreneurial skills, and it has given women something to do. They are no longer mocked as being idle and rumor mongers and all that. They have a lot to do. There is improved health of families. Children and families eat better, they dress better, they attend school. The women pay back in time and they put the money to good use. They have acquired assets for the family, amongst others. Unfortunately, there's been suspicion by the men because we know that generally it's the men who have been earning and been the bread earners. But I don't see a problem with this. I think it's a sensitization that is lacking, and I know that there's been mishandling of the program by some of its managers. Can these mistakes be corrected rather than the fund being taken away from the women? Let the parish model continue, but let it target, because it targets the women at the lower level, but can we get the funds from the other programs? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Kitale, Seku, Kilak, Ogwal.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for giving this important matter the order paper, and I want to thank the Leader of Opposition for presenting a bipartisan matter which affects our mothers. And Honorable Speaker, Parliament is being put on spot. as those who passed the Public Finance Management Act. In terms of oversight work, the budget discipline, if we start allowing reallocations and budget cuts, then as Parliament, I think we are in problems. So I would request that if there is an issue of policy incoherence or review, such matters should be brought to the floor of Parliament. That's why 2 weeks ago, the Speaker had requested that there are so many mixed messages coming during from the budget framework paper. The supplementaries are in the budget committee, in finance, Mioga is being discussed, in agriculture, another review is being discussed. So you find Parliament has been divided to be ruled. So I would pray that we hold into our guns. If you add up the monies which have been scattered in all these other projects, we would have a women bank yesterday, cooperative bank long ago, if not revamping even our commercial, our rural development bank, the rural farmer scheme. So the issue of focusing and concentrating resources needs to be brought here. Now, really, robbing Nyakato to pay Isingoma because we are taking from the women, I don't know, to somebody making noise somewhere, it does not solve a problem. It doesn't at all. I think Cabinet should rethink this issue, because even Mioga was yet to be understood. Now the parish model is a whole debate. Is it a delivery mechanism? Is it a policy review? And then we can at that point agree how to move. We cannot have this NDP3 because this budget we are trying to finance is year 2 of the NDP3. So the incoherencies really disturbs, and you would wonder how we intend to achieve. We've just been discussing here in the previous, the same Minister of Gender was raising the issue of exploitation of labor, where our daughters are being exported slaves in quotes. And it's because of these challenges of not being able to be kept at home. I don't know why I was here when NSSF was moved from gender to finance. Now again, gender has nurtured the most successful revolving fund. It's a Speaker, as I conclude, I really want to plead with the Cabinet, because I have heard none of these sectors have even has consented, because in the public finance management they must consent the entity you are taking money from. I've heard from ministers complaining here that their money has been taken, and permanent secretaries. So who is going to implement this project where both the political leaders and the experts are in opposition, okay, sorry for using the word opposition, are up in arms against the program? So is that uncoordinated movement of troops within my NRM government? God forbid. Can we reorganize ourselves, take courage, and have mergers, restructuring, and and rationalization as at once? Then we understand what to follow. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Seku, Honourable Akor, Ogwar. I'm now on this side.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I personally rise to support the motion moved by the law in support of this fund remaining and not be merged with the proposed parish models. Right Honourable Speaker, what I am going to say are experiences that I have personally met in as far as this fund is concerned. As leaders, you know, colleagues, that many times we have had to intervene in trying to solve the community problems. But of recent, my experience is that because the women have attained some level of empowerment, they have embarked on some of the developmental activities within the families and in the communities. I want to point out the issue of shelter, construction of homes and in the families. The women now come to us leaders to say, I have gone this far, can you kindly help to top for me some 5 iron sheets? I am about to complete a house. This is a sign that there is a lot of achievement through this fund being within the women. And so we need to support this fund to remain as it is and stop the merger. Right, Honorable Speaker, the issue of the parish models is not bad perhaps, but unfortunately, even as leaders, there is nothing yet we know about these parish models. However, of recent, I have come across a correspondence from Minister of Finance to the cows in the districts, and they are asking the cows to compile information regarding availability and ownership of land in the parishes to facilitate the work or the intention of the parish models. This is a very big threat on the women, because it shows that there is a likelihood that accessibility may be tagged to availability and ownership of land. And we know how our women are not well advantaged in terms of possession of land and even availability of land for them. It is for this reason that I think as a parliament, really, and as representatives of the people, we know that women comprise the majority of the population of this country,